itself somewhat. Should I have it in the wall? That might look snazzy. No tax or very little tax would be great. Oh, we got another one. Fuck. Got another libertarian. Okay, we could talk about taxes if you guys want to. But taxes, so I'll make sure the delay is not that bad. Let me know how the delay is. Somebody let me know. I want to rain the wall. I kind of do. I want to build. Yeah, I'm gonna have it rain the wall. Oh, no, I can't have it rain the wall. Fuck. Yeah, right. Okay, true. What do you believe, streamer? Taxes are pretty much an essential part of government. So unless you want no government whatsoever and want to live in an anarchical society, taxes is inevitable. It's a great way to distribute wealth and pay for basic things such as roads, a military, fire department, police department, all this stuff. So unless you want to go into a anarcho society, which would be fucking La La Land, some form of taxation will exist. Income tax is one of the best ways to do it, and a progressive taxation system is mucho bueno. So I'm assuming when you talk about little and no tax, you would be meaning just income tax, right? By the way, is my stream back and like running at a good? Is the delay bad? By the way, okay, I think my delay's good. Yes, okay, my delay seems fine on my end. Okay, nobody answered me, so I need to know this shit. That's good. Okay, good, perfect. So yeah, taxes is pretty much an inevitability of government. So, do I want it too high? I don't think so. I just want to go like this. This will be good. Yeah, UBI would cost trillions a year. Who else would pay for it? You still pay tax with UBI, yeah. Of course. He said he's restarting the stream. No, it's good. No, it's basically UBI, but only for poor people who make no income. So the left approach to a UBI is that you still have all your social programs. You just also get money. There we go. My stream is properly restarted now. What are you, streamer? Communist, social centrist? Okay, Sockdam would be the closest way to reference me. What the fuck? Oh, right. I forget how portals work. Don't want to make this as wide as... Nah, probably just like this. So Sockdam would be the closest thing. If I was in the United States, I would vote for Bernie Sanders. Comfortably, I would need to dig into more policies to see if I would specifically vote for... If there's anyone else like Liz Warren, I could probably vote for. And then I need to dig into others to see if I'd vote for them. But for the most part, yeah, Sockdam. In Canada, typically vote for either the Liberal Party or NDP. Green Party seems pretty inactive in Canada, which is kind of annoying. But they're just like super hyper focusing on. They super hyper focus on climate change, which is fine. But there's other problems we got to deal with in our country, so it's kind of meh. But yeah. Cool. Oh, the ground. Oh boy, I gotta piss. But right now I'm more interested in what the hell's going on with this no taxation thing. Okay, what? Why is half my shit not working? It doesn't say I have any viewers. Okay, it says I have 3 there. Okay, my OBS just isn't working that well. That's fine. I do watch Destiny. My opinions do align up with his a lot. UBI is honestly a bad idea. It's not your own money that would be given. UBI is honestly a bad idea. It's your own money that would be given. Well, it'd be a redistribution of wealth, literally, in like a literal sense. So the best way to implement UBI, in my opinion, is that you keep all of the normal. So like Andrew Yang's biggest fear is automation, right? Okay, so let's say automation shows up tomorrow and takes away like 90% of jobs. What would happen, a good way to implement UBI is that you keep all your normal social programs. So in Canada, you keep everything. In the United States, you most likely add. But let's say in Canada, I'll take Canada as an example because we have a bunch of social programs that you guys want, or that lefties usually want. So healthcare, blah, 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 stuff like this. So we keep all normal social programs, but you would just get, but basically, business owners would pay for your existence and for you to give them money to move capital, because if nobody's working because all the jobs are taken up by automation, well, then nobody's moving capital around the system. So the way to do that is that you have to basically subsidize the population, and to do that you have the government just kind of give out money through taxation of the rich. And yeah, I used to, but the N-word manifesto I stopped. Kick. Yeah, well, I don't know. That's a tale for a different time. Because I'm in a precarious situation with that stuff. But we don't need to get into that. We have a million topics going on right now. But the gist of it is that I don't super care about how people act privately. I'm still going to enjoy their content. And then in terms of myself, I have like a wholly different story, which I could get into at some point in my life, but I don't need to right now. So my bees, they're so cute. Okay, let's add some lights to this thing. One there. One there, one there. Nice meme. Oh, that probably destroys the need for the yeah, okay. I probably don't need the torches on the inside now, do I? Oh, fuck. Oh my god, I need to use the fucking pisser, dude. Okay. If anyone's typing stuff out, oh, fuck! Continue typing. I'm just gonna run to the washroom really quick, okay? I love you all. Just keep at it. I need to get rid of these torches. No! That's not what I wanted. God damn. Why is my chat? Why is the text so huge? Okay, I'll be right back. I gotta piss really badly. So just type in chat. I'll come back. Okay, I'll read everything. Okay. Keep on living on. Big ol' pisser. But yeah. Laderinos. Okay, ask some more questions. We only got like one answer deep on the questions. It's very like, you know. It's like, what's your opinion on UBI? Well, you know, it could be better. And then we haven't talked about it. Let's talk about libertarianism. So we have that. What other building do I kind of want? And then I should get them connected by roads. Be cute. Can you just come into my chat and ask me one simple answer to, well, not really simply answer question, but you know what I'm saying. Slap out more questions. Or I have to go hunt for content. Oh, God. All right, well, I guess everyone's gone. We'll hunt for content.
I want to begin today.
God, these are always super fucking cringy, but I'll just listen to this and see what the fuck happens to my brain.
With a case at Shawnee State University in Ohio.
Okay, what connects by roads?
A judge that he must use the preferred pronouns of a transgender student, or he can be fired if he doesn't. The professor claims that this requirement is discriminatory against him. It violates his free speech. It violates his religious liberty. But the court said, no, you can be forced to pretend that a male student is female. The court said it is reasonable for you to be made to participate in the delusion of a gender-confused student. Shawnee State University philosophy professor Nick.
Oh my God, it's so fucking hilariously transphobic. But it's what's interesting about it is that it's how do I word this? It's like harder to dig into, I guess, because his worldview on transgenderism is totally fucking detached from everyone else. Right? So he believes that it's a straight up delusion to be transgender, okay? Transitioning from male to female, complete and utter delusion. Nothing, no questions about it, okay? Complete delusion. Like, okay. Interesting. Whereas most other people, it's like, no, it's not a delusion, you fuck. So he's just super detached from reality, obviously. So it's hard to dig into because, like, he has a completely different worldview. And I'm wondering if that's, like, a compromise. So, like, he has to have this worldview to make these takes, pretty much, right? Because if he doesn't, he's kind of fucked. So.
Dr. Nicholas Merriweather has gotten himself into trouble at his work. Here's the background. Dr. Merriweather last year was responding to a male student's question during class. And in responding, Dr. Merriweather said, "Yes, sir." He apparently refers to all of his students as sir or ma'am and calls them Mr. or Ms. and then their last name when referring to him. If you can imagine it, this guy apparently
it's kind of cringe. It's pretty boomer.
Actually being polite and courteous and having etiquette. Okay, he's one of those weirdos.
I don't know.
Anyway,
that's
so
not really.
He's been doing this, referring to people this way.
God. Okay, that's not exactly courteous and etiquette. Just because someone's like ma'am or sir isn't specifically proper etiquette. Also, it would be proper etiquette to not misgender somebody. But again, he has a completely different worldview, so he thinks it's pure delusion to think that you're transgender. So obviously he's gonna like. Yeah. So it's not proper etiquette to believe somebody's quote unquote delusions. I guess. But yeah, it's really not proper etiquette to refer to somebody as, like, it's, you can be polite without calling everyone by sir and miss and ma'am and sir. Right? Because, like, what if you characterize somebody's status, right? So you say miss if somebody's not married, and you say ma'am if they are. Misses and miss. So you would say misses if they're married and ms if they're not. So, like, are you being rude if you mischaracterize that because you don't actually have prior knowledge? Anyways, it's dumb. What's your stance on what? What's my stance on what? On this video? Well, currently, it's that he's super transphobic. because he believes that transgenderism is complete and utter delusion, which is not true.
Presumably his whole life, just about. But this time it was a problem. Turns out the sir that he was addressing prefers to be a man.
Okay, so then call him a man. What? So yeah, you're just not being courteous. If somebody wants to be called a ma'am, you can call them a ma'am. If it's courteous for you to call people ma'ams and sirs, and if somebody wants to be called a sir, then just call them sir. It's still courteous. You're not breaking any laws. I thought this was going to be a story about like somebody wanting to be called Zer, and they only say, and they're super used to saying ma'am and sir. I'd be like, okay, that's a little bit more understandable because like it's hard for somebody to change their language. And I'm assuming that this person's pretty old if they're using ma'am and sir still. So I'd be like, okay, a little bit more. But no, it's literally just somebody saying, like, oh, please refer to me as sir, or please refer to me as ma'am. And the guy's like, no.
Even though he is, in fact, a sir. He was a biological male who identifies as female. So,
so he's a ma'am.
Approached the professor after class.
She's a ma'am.
Demanded to be referred to by female pronouns.
Dr.
Merriweather said he couldn't do that.
Why not?
Now, according to the Alliance Defending Freedom, which is the organization that's been representing Dr. Merriweather, the student then, quote, became aggressive, circling around him, getting in his face in a threatening fashion while telling him, then I guess this means I can call you a C word. See you next Tuesday. Except he said the word. Before walking away, the student promised to get Mr.
So that's problematic. Would you watch a Milton Friedmen video? Sure, yeah. For content, yeah. After this one, I'll watch a Milton Friedmen video. What was I on? Oh yeah, so this is problematic because like it gives a bad rap if whoever this person was actually being aggressive. Like I'm not sure how true this is and stuff yet, but if this person was actually being aggressive as fuck and getting in his face, that's not good. Don't do that. Yes, I know that the professor's being transphobic, but don't be more understanding, okay? Dude's probably a boomer. Dude's got some, like, clearly misaligned. It doesn't help to get super aggro in somebody's face when they don't understand your point of view. It's not helpful. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. Gives you a bad rap. We saw this with Steven Crowder and the white male privilege changed my mind, where some person got up into his face and started yelling at him and calling him all this shit. It's not helpful. It doesn't help. It fuels his fire because he gets to say like, look at these radical fuck. No, that's support Jordan Peterson. He just gets to be like, oh, look at these radical fucking libtards. They're fucking attacking me. Well, it's not a normal kind of argument. It's rather an existential discussion. What? Well, you're right, though. What do you like? What the professor stance? What is not a normal kind of argument? What do you mean? Oh, do I want to pop out chat? Yeah, fuck it. Pop out chat. Bring it here so you can see better. I have my chat like that. Like what are you saying is not a normal kind of argument? I'm curious.
To get Dr. Merriweather fired.
Here, I'll wait. Fuck. White privilege exists, but so does black privilege. It depends on the situation. Well, not really. What? We held the message of social identity. Wow. It held this message. Amazing. Held the message for reason, identity. Allowed to post. Yeah, fuck it. White privilege exists, but so does black privilege. If you want to talk about that more in depth, we can. I have a video up on like Carter's thing. You can watch that. But so the whole thing of white privilege is that on the whole, in the entirety of the United States, which class of people has more privilege than another? And you would have to agree that white people have more privilege than black people. Sure, there might be cases of black privilege existing. So maybe a black person in a predominantly black neighborhood neighborhood has better access to whatever. Okay, maybe anything, right? It's more of a majority of privilege. Yeah, sure. Okay, we could characterize that majority of privilege. So yeah, sure. Some cases of black privilege might exist, but there's a majority of white privilege in existence. So we say that white people have privilege because, and by that we mean that white people have more privilege. And there might be certain cases of black privilege. Maybe you can consider that like, okay, athleticism. You might be able to consider some form of that. Well, no, you don't have to consider it. Like it seems to be, there appears to be a. That's my credit card being just shown on screen. Nice meme. There seems to be some of our black privilege, right? Because black people tend to be way more athletic than people. Privilege is something you haven't earned, so they haven't earned that massive athleticism. Typically, it's mostly genetic. So yeah. Anyways, white privilege comes from the culture. A lot of mishappenings of the black community are self-inflicted, not but all. What? A lot of mishappenings of the black community are self-inflicted, not. I'm not sure about that. I need to. You need to clarify this statement more. The mishappenings of black community are self-inflicted. I'll need a little bit more clarification on that one. Because if the prof doesn't acknowledge her identity, he ignores her identity, so her emotions are justified. Yeah. Well, yeah. Because if the prof doesn't acknowledge her identity, he ignores her identity. Yeah, but the prof has a completely different worldview, so you can't just start yelling at the prof, because then he'll never understand. Largely the single mother rate and stuff. Perhaps, but we would need to go. I would need to have like a super. I think this would require a larger discussion, and I'm on a different thing right now. So, yeah, that's where you're right. Okay, yeah, okay, perfect. Well, then, am I wrong anywhere? I don't think I'm wrong anywhere. I think we agree. We just have a different. Anyways, yeah, I think we're good. Anyways, I'm gonna go back to it, and then we'll get on these other topics. Okay, guys. Okay, let me just get through this video. It's 4 minutes long. Let me get through this. We'll go through the other stuff. Okay, nonstop. Discog. We'll dig into your stuff too. If I get pulled over by a racist black cop in that situation, I'll have privilege. It's purely situational. Well, yeah, but again, so we're talking about on the whole, right? So on the whole, you're most likely, a black person is most likely going to get pulled over by a white racist person than a white person getting pulled over by a racist black person. That's just statistically true. So, of course, there might be a situation where you get pulled over by a racist black cop, but it's really, really super unlikely, where it's pretty likely, depending on where you live, that you get pulled over by a white racist cop. Yeah. So that's why, on the whole, that's why we say like white privilege. What most people mean by white privilege, what I mean by white privilege, is that on the whole, you have more privileges in the society you live in over another race. So if you lived in a different country, you might consider it X privilege of whoever lives there. So even if you move to another country, let's say you're purely English speaking and you move to France, you might consider it French privilege because you don't speak French, so you have less opportunities to get jobs there because you can't speak French. There are black racist cops too. Of course there are black racist cops, but there's not as many as white racist cops. Can I please get through this video?
Sounds like a lovely young man. Reading more from ADF, here's what happened next. They say, quote, the student filed a complaint with the university, which launched a formal investigation. As a Christian, Dr. Merriweather believes that God has created human beings in his image as a male or female, and that God does not make mistakes. To call a man a woman or vice versa would be to say something that is just not true and to endorse an ideology that conflicts with his religious beliefs. So Dr. Merriweather offered a compromise. He would refer to the student by a first or last name only. The student filed a complaint with the university, which launched a formal investigation.
Okay, yeah, justified complaint.
Merriweather believes that God has created human beings in his image as a male or female, and that
God
does not make mistakes. To call a man a
So on this point, it depends on what you consider male and female, which of course Matt Walsh and this professor have a completely different mindset on what male and female means, and we would have to dig into that on a person-to-person basis. But in simplifications, Matt Walsh's opinion on what a male and female are is probably incorrect, but we'd have to dig into it on what they think is. And I'm pretty sure both of their ideas of what a male and female are would differ themselves. So whatever Matt Walsh thinks is a male would probably be different than whatever the professor thinks is male, and same with females. So it depends on what did God mean by male and female. If you just think that male and female, the difference between male and female is based on roles, pretty much, which is largely why not really, but I would think that. So the reason I think gender is a construct. Yeah, but you're talking about male equals penis, female equals vagina. But that's like super simplistic, and that's only talking about sex. We're talking about gender. Gender is typically defined as pretty much the roles you take in a society. But male and female is scientifically and biological ways. Yeah, sex is, but usually when you're talking to somebody, you're not referring to their sex. But it's not. No, your gender isn't based on your genitals. Your sex is based on your genitals. There are people with variations too. Yeah. So your sex is based on your genitals. Your gender is based on society, pretty much. And if you're gonna say that gender is based on genitals, then why do we have the word genital? Why do we have the word gender and sex? Okay, it's based on Y chromosome. No, that's your sex. Your sex is based on biological factors. Your gender is based on societal factors. That's why there are two words. These two words don't mean the exact same thing. That's why we have two words, because they describe two different things. Gender is societal, and sex is biological. And also, if you're going to say that, okay, well, I only refer to people based on a biological sense, that's pretty dumb. I don't agree that there's, well, we'll see. I don't agree that there's infinite genders. You either believe that there is two or there's infinite. Synonym? No, that's not really a synonym. They're different. So gender is societal. Your gender is the role. Typically, historically, your gender is what role you played in society. I don't agree there's infinite genders. I also don't agree that there's infinite genders. I agree that there is no such thing as gender. But we live in a binary sense. This is a huge fucking discussion. This will go on forever. But in the sense that, like, I don't believe that there's any such thing as gender. But currently, we live in a binary society, and people are comfortable with the gender binary, so we live within that binary. They used to mean the same thing until the STW changed the definition. Not true. We can dig into that, by the way, but that's not true. Just an FYI. The basic, basically, in a simple example of this, like 500 years ago, there's evidence of them using the word they to describe somebody like genderless. Like they used as a genderless pronoun has been used many, many, many times, right? And has been used for many, many years. And you do this all the time. When you don't know what somebody's gender is, you refer to them as they. And you do this, unknowingly for the most part. But yeah, they as a gender neutral pronoun has been used for many, many years. So no, gender and sex has not meant the same thing for a long time, and the SJW didn't change that. Gender and sex have been different for many years. You can be a effeminate male, but he's still a male, yo. Yeah, of course. You can be an effeminate male, and if you identify as a male, then you're a male. That's the point, right? Exactly. Like, so you agree with me on some points, right? That you can be effeminate, but still be a male. Matt Walsh thinks that if you're in any way effeminate, you are a female. Now, he won't directly admit to this because it would get really sticky and he'd look like an idiot. But Matt Walsh's stance on male and female is that if you have long hair, if you can't grow facial hair, pretty much in a basic sense, if you have long hair, if you can't grow facial hair, if you wear a dress, if you were to dress up in front of Matt Walsh with long hair and he would get stuck and like a dress on and you would look like a female, you would be female to him. He would call you female, but then you get stuck because he'd be like, oh, but I don't have a vagina. So, right, you can be effeminate and still male. It's based on what you identify as. And exactly, yeah, you can be a masculine female. You can be super jacked and still be a female because it all depends on what you identify with. Isn't gender biological? No, gender is not biological. Sex is biological. Those genders did what biology would allow and is still true to this day. Those genders did what biology would? What do you mean? My gender is onion. Good meme. I don't think he believes that. Can you show us where Matt said that? So it's not going to be in this video, but it's a culmination of me watching many videos. Now, if we could throw that out the window and say that he doesn't believe that, but typically, most people believe that. Where does it say? Where did you say this? Typically, people that I've talked to basically think that, like, there are certain characteristics that a female falls under, and it all comes from having a vagina. I think I'm wording that properly. And there's typical things that males fall under, and it all comes down to having a penis. So if you have a penis, you're automatically a male. And if you have a vagina, you're automatically female, even though that's not how gender works. It's hard to think, but it's not going to be in this video where Matt Walsh is. It's just a culmination of, like, his opinions on a million different things. And it's hard to get down to one thing because he'll jump, because it's hard to get stuck on one thing. Because if somebody dresses up as a female, if somebody looks exactly like your typical definition of a female, you're going to call them she. And we've caught Ben Shapiro doing this many times where he accidentally properly genders somebody when he means to misgender them because they look exactly, they are female. So females on average more fragile, therefore generally males were hunters and gatherers and females gatherers. Yeah, but some females can be hunters and some males can be gatherers. That doesn't make them the opposite sex and stuff like that, right? You can be male and be a gatherer. You could be a female and a hunter. Just because you claim something doesn't mean it's true. Or Nazis could claim that the Jews, they are Jews to avoid persecution. Sure. Thanks for the follow, though. Yeah, but biology pushed them into those roles. No. Well, let's see. Biology pushed them into those roles. You're getting evolution wrong a little bit. I see what you're trying to get at. I'm pretty sure, right? That you're basically saying that, okay, since we had to go into hunter-gatherer roles because of evolution, therefore we have a set binary of, like, your genders based on things. But we've evolved as a society that we have social interactions with people that are very deeper than just we fuck now, make baby, I need food, go hunt, you know? Like, that's why gender is a social thing and sex is a biological thing. And yes, there are differences between the two through evolution, but those differences don't make it so that female and male are specific things. There's a binary, and you can be extremely masculine and still female, still identify as a female, and you can be extremely effeminate and still identify as a male, of course. Or I could be an onion. No. And stop with that before I have to fucking ban you. So I'm glad we're on this topic, though, because we're... What? Milton Friedmen. I want to see you debate this video. Oh, okay. I don't know why it didn't give me the... Did you put the link in properly, or is it... I think I found the video.
Over here.
Why?
Okay, it's 2 minutes. I'll get this after, because we're on the pronoun thing right now. Yeah. Female is specifically not having a Y chromosome. Yeah, sex, but not gender. You're misunderstanding that gender is a social thing. So from a societal standpoint, why wouldn't you just call someone that what they present as for simplicity's sake? Well, yeah, but that's what the so okay, let me read this whole thing. Why wouldn't you just call someone what they present as for simplicity's sake? And most people do this, including the people you're naming, like Ben Shapiro and Matt Walsh. Having a guess and asking is just a mess. Having to guess and asking is just a mess. No, but they don't do this. There's a clip of Ben Shapiro, and I wish I could find it, but I might have to. I'll dig for it. It'll be really hard to find. But there's a clip where Ben Shapiro is talking about this exact thing, and he, I'm pretty sure there was a transgender female on screen, and he goes, he called she a she properly, but had to backtrack on it because he has to put up the front that, like, oh, I can't. She looked exactly like a female. She is female. But because he has this other ideology, he had to misgender her. Even though she looks exact, she was dressed up like exactly what we're talking about. Society calling somebody by what they present as themselves, which is exactly what I'm advocating here. Just calling somebody by what they present, and then asking them, because people present stuff in different ways, right? Like, I'm not male because I wear pants. I'm male because I identify with the male gender. But yeah, and respectfully asking is the best way to get to it. Because guessing is sticky, right? We have the ContraPoints debacle, I'll call it, where she felt extremely misgendered, or she felt very dysphoric because she was in a space where everyone was using they them pronouns, where she makes a supreme effort to be referred to as she her. He says in a debate he won't use their pronouns, but at dinner he would use their pronouns. Yeah, but then he's like, but why? Why wouldn't you just use their pronouns in the debate as well? Is Canada an American colony? No, Canada is a British colony. But we told them to fuck off after World War II. He said he won't use their pronouns, but at dinner he would use their pronouns. So he's only polite to people when having dinner with them. But if he's having any other conversation, if he's having a debate with them, all bets are off. Triggered dysphoria. Looks female except the PP and Y chromosome. By the way, drag queens are typically an offense to women. What? So, there's gender, there's reassignment surgery, right, where you can turn your PP into a vajayjay. So there's that. And soon enough, probably down the line, there will be chromosomal realignment operations. But that's not here, so we won't need to talk about it. Ben Shapiro, who are you talking about? What? What? You just asked me, is Canada American? What? Yeah, so anyways, for the most part, the easiest way to start this is that you refer to somebody by how they appear. Okay? Very easy. Fine. What? How come you can't wear blackface to identify as a black person? You can wear a drag and be able to look like a woman. Here, I'll allow that. It just got bugged up anyways. How come you can't wear blackface to identify as a black person and be allowed to look like a woman? Well, that's different. Blackface is typically used to demean black people, whereas drag is typically a what's it called? What's it typically called? What's the word for it? It's like an you're kind of like hyper focusing on feminine features is, I think, a way to describe drag. I would need to talk to somebody in the drag community to get a better one of this, but I'm talking about a bunch of people, but yes, one of them was Ben Shapiro. Wait 5 years and that will try to be normalized. What, blackface? I don't know about that. Artist way of expression. So, like, also, blackface is for the most part, obviously, like, not good. But there are some instances, right? You have, what the fuck's the movie called? Rolling Thunder or whatever, where Robert Downey Jr. is wearing blackface. The real question is, right here. How did Robert Downey Jr. get away with one of the blackest stereotypes characters and get away with it? Because it was art. It was separating the artist from the art. No one was dressing up in drag and no one dresses up in drag to demean women. Yeah. But people dress up in blackface to demean black people. Drag queens don't identify as women, although they present themselves as a trashy woman and have vulgar, effeminate names. Well, that's just not true. They don't dress up as trashy women. I wouldn't consider drag queens trashy women, and they don't have... you just have a different opinion on what a trashy woman is and a vulgar, feminine names. You just kind of... I guess you don't like the names like of... whatever they... Yeah, Tropic Thunder. Thank you. Is race dysphoria a thing? No, because race is a different thing than gender. Race is biological. Gender is social. What about... I'll allow this too. What about black people wearing whiteface? Like the movie White Girls Should that be considered offensive because I just thought it was a funny movie? Well, no, the same way we don't find Robert Downey Jr.'s portrayal of a black male in Tropic Thunder as not offensive. We wouldn't assume that that's offensive as well, right? Yeah, but I would say that Jessica Yaniv, I think, is it? Yaniv? I would say that she's a reprehensible human being, and she's fucking disgusting. She's also has basically no follower base on any social media. Yeah, I don't like her. So drag queens don't have joke names and dress up hyper. I'm not in the drag community. I don't know why they do these things. Talk to somebody in the drag community. If you believe, so I don't have an opinion on drag names and like how they do stuff because I don't know. So you might think that they're hypersexualized. They probably don't think they're hypersexualized. I don't know. I'm not in the drag community. Yeah, for the most part, what I've heard about Jessica, she's a reprehensible human being and is a complete fucking disgrace to the LGBTQ community. Don't you guys think that the left's going a little too far by being offended by things? I need to be more specific on that one. Because I would say no, mostly because a lot of right-wingers also get super triggered about stuff. And we can go find some examples of that.
A woman or vice versa would be to say something that is just not true and to endorse an ideology that conflicts with his religious beliefs. So Dr. Merriweather offered a compromise. He would refer to the student by a first or last name only.
Sure.
Perfectly reasonable compromise that respects the freedoms of everybody involved. But that was not enough for university officials. Instead, they formally charged Dr. Merriweather, claiming that he created a hostile environment for the student. Later, they placed a written warning in his personnel file that threatened, quote, further corrective actions if he did not refer to students using pronouns that reflect their self-asserted gender identity. The university warned Dr. Merriweather that he'd be in violation of its non-discrimination policy if he agreed to refer to men as women while putting a disclaimer in his syllabus saying he was being compelled to do so against his beliefs. So apparently...
University of the girl saying there's too many white people in here is way too far. The video from Virginia University of the girl saying there's way too many white people in here is way too far. Yeah, okay, that's one person. What? What do you mean? I'm confused.
That was another compromise that
Just a minute, bro. Drag queens use names like smutty miss, and overly glamorize and make dirty sex jokes that demean the women they act as. Sorry, bro. I'm not in the drag community. I don't know the ins and out of the drag community. I'm pretty sure you don't either. But if you know somebody that's part of the drag community that would like to talk about this, great. If I find somebody that's in the drag community that can help me out with this, great. I don't know enough about the drag community to talk about this. But yes, I am aware of some people who are against drag queens because of whatever fucking reasons. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to be like, nah, fuck those people. Yeah, I don't think their main motivation is to demean women. Yeah, exactly. I'm pretty sure their main motivation isn't to demean women. Okay? While people who wear blackface, typically their main motivation is to demean black people. You don't need to be in the community to have seen a drag show. Me saying I'm not in the community means I don't watch drag shows. That's what that means. I don't think I've ever watched a single drag show in my fucking existence, okay? When I say I'm not part of that community, I don't watch drag shows. Motivational ideals are not portrayed via drag shows. Perhaps. I have no idea. I would need to ask somebody in the drag community.
Dr. Merriweather offered, he said, apparently, okay, I'll use the pronoun, the incorrect pronoun, but I'm going to put something in the syllabus saying...
Yeah, that's dumb. What? Of course you can't do that. What the fuck? Yeah, I'll use the pronouns, but I'll put a disclaimer in the syllabus that I don't mean it. Yeah, of course you can't do that. What the fuck?
that I'm being forced to do this. That was no good either.
Of course not. What do you mean? Yeah, I agree that I won't say I hate black people. But I'm going to put it in the syllabus that I hate black people. What the fuck? Drag is really not that sexual, to be honest. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
University is loud and clear. You must endorse the university's favored ideology or be punished. There is no room for dissent.
Now, there's not much wiggle room in this because this professor is working for a university, and so this is a company policy, basically. If you don't want to follow the company policy, get a new job. This is pretty much the pinnacle of all things that, like, the right agrees with, right? Is that, oh, just get a new job. So you should tell this professor to get a new job.
Okay, so
as a Republican, I agree with you on the gender stuff or this thing. But it's the same thing. You are all lying to yourselves because of SJW virtue signaling. True. You know what? You're right. On the new job. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's the argument from Republicans all the time. I'm glad you're consistent on it. Is, oh, you're being abused at your job or whatever, just get a new one. So, Matt Walsh here should be telling this professor to get a new job. Clearly.
That's the lead up to the lawsuit. And then eventually Merriweather filed a lawsuit. And all the Dr.
It's a company policy. The university has a set of rules. If you don't follow those rules as a professor, get the fuck out. It's very simple.
Wants to do, just to be clear, just to reiterate this, all he wants to do is his job. Okay, he wants to do his job as a professor and not be forced.
Yeah, but your job as a professor is to socialize with people. You have to talk with people. So you have to there's an expectation of politeness, okay? And you're not being polite by misgendering somebody. You probably could have got away with the last name only thing. You didn't really go in on that. It just said that was an option. And then I guess the professor said no and said that I will say the right pronoun, but I'm going to put it in my syllabus that I'm joking. SJW doesn't mean all left ideas. Okay, but you're just being dumb, anarcho-tinner. And we can talk about, if you want, you can hop on a Discord and tell me more of what you mean, but I don't really know what you're talking about. You're kind of just going off on a million things. Oh, you're talking about the drag star stuff. Yeah, well, I can't really talk about that because I'm not in the drag community, so I really have no idea. But it's a weird tangent that you go, you're all lying to yourself because of SJW virtue signaling. It's like, okay.
Forced to tell a lie. That's it. He wants to do his job without being forced to lie. That's it.
But he's not lying. He just has a complete misunderstanding of how gender works. That's all. He's not lying. He just doesn't understand. I think there's a case to be made about all the money government gives to the colleges, though. Well, what do you mean? Like, you're saying that there's enough money going into them to make them public officials? Because I would super disagree with you, because Canada subsidizes colleges even more. And colleges are more public than, like, they're technically not considered private colleges in Canada, but we still, but every worker there is considered a private worker. They don't have to, like, they're not government workers. Anyways, and sticking to the factual standard, like, if gender is fluid, why not use sex? Well, because you typically don't run around looking at people's nuts, right? That's why. What your gender is doesn't matter. Sure. But that's not how, like, talking works. That's not how language works. That's why gender exists, because it's the social aspect of your... If we were just going off of sex, right, then people would be hyper-focusing on, like, biological differences between men and women, but you're not. And that's why you're, like... If that was true, if you're just looking at sex, then the whole world would be different. You're pretty much getting into gender abolitionism there, which nobody's ready for. Like, there's no point in referring to somebody by their sex, right? This is like the argument of, like, in the far future, we might not separate wrestling classes with male and female. It might only be levels of testosterone, weight, and height. That's where you're kind of going with this. Like, the military only referring to people by their sex is maybe true. And if it is true, then that means that the military is only looking at what can you do biologically, which is fine. But then that means that they shouldn't. But anytime, but that means if that's true, if the military only looks at you by your sex, depending on how you score on the test, or whatever you're like referring to, whatever score they get, wherever they land, then you'd be called male or female, right? So let's say a male officer, right? A male, not an officer, I guess that's a rank, but a male military personnel does boot camp and scores the same score as the average woman. Is he called a woman because he scored just as high as like all the women? Or are you purely going by genitalia, in which case nobody does that? Like, what do you mean by sex? Like, what do you mean the military only refers to you by sex? Because then because it's like straight up boiling down to just XY chromosomes, because that's like kind of, again, nobody does that. Nobody's testing every single person that walks up into the military to see if they have an XY chromosome.
That's his only request. He's not asking this student to do anything. He's not trying to.
What do you think about trans women taking over women's sports? They are getting first in everything because of biological advantages. It would mean the end of women's sports eventually. This one's interesting. I would need to more. I think like this would require a larger discussion. I think it's a little bit off topic from the rest of the stuff. But my typical, I think my answer, it's hard. So if you've ever watched Destiny respond to it, my answer pretty much aligns with that, and that took like a 3-hour thing, so I'm not going to sit here for 3 hours talking about it, especially since it's over chat. But essentially my position is that it might be something we needed to look into in the future, but right now we don't really need to look into it because it's not a big deal. It's like what usually happens, what seems to bear out is that somebody might win on a state level, maybe max. There's like one person I think won on a state level. Usually these things happen in high school, but once they make it to the higher levels, typically they end up falling and not really being a superstar, right? They're not like transgender male to female athletes typically aren't like instantaneous superstars, best in the world, right? They have a lot of other issues going on that could hamper their development, and then they might win a couple things here and there, and then they get to a high enough level and they stop being competitive, because super high competitive athletes are there for a reason, right? So usually they don't make it, so it's not a huge deal, so we don't really need to deal with it right now, but it might need to be a discussion in the future. We might need to open up discussion in the future. It's definitely possible. Myself, as more of a gender abolitionist, would say that it shouldn't really matter. We should all be able to compete in a similar level. The reason why we have a male and female division in the first place is because females wanted representation in the sports being played, and if you didn't have that, if we went pure abolitionist, of course, then you wouldn't have any. Basically, women wouldn't have any spotlight for sports, because it would just be completely male dominated. So we opened it up to male. We split it into male and female, and now female could essentially have, even though they don't, but they could have equal coverage of the sport, because it'd be two different leagues. You could cover the leagues the same way over the news. Obviously, they don't right now because of pretty much capitalism and sexism up until I don't know how recently, but that's a whole other discussion. Yeah, it's a tough one. Definitely a tough one to go over with just typing. So if you want to hop in Discord, because we'll get into like paragraphs, and it's really hard to read entire paragraphs and respond to them, and then you have to write a whole other paragraph. Okay, I would say that's a fair statement, that since it really doesn't affect you, you don't have an opinion on it. That's good. It's a good stance to take. Hopefully you would take the same thing on abortion. But that's a good libertarian stance. Doesn't affect you. Why should you care? Perfect. Should go talk to Caitlin Bennett. Oh, that video is so fucking hilarious. What do you think about this? I don't care. Oh, true.
Take anything away from this student. He's not trying to impose anything on this student.
Well, he is, actually. He's trying to impose his worldview on the student. He's trying to impose... so the professor believes that the student is in complete delusion of reality, and he's trying to impose that on him by telling him that he's a liar, essentially. Pro-choice, cool, awesome. Sick. We don't have to start a discussion on that either.
There are ways that the professor could refrain from lying while also refraining from using any pronouns that this poor student might find traumatic. But even those compromises aren't good enough for the student or for the university. No, they need the lie, the full lie.
It's not a lie, you dumb fuck. You just don't understand.
So help you God. Well, I hope you enjoyed that clip.
Alright, that made me want to fucking injure myself in a video game. Alright, I'll get to the Milton Friedmen thing in a second, my dude Reno. If there's anything else you want to talk about based on the video, hit me up. But I'll play a Milton Friedmen video right after. Okay. And a stream marker so I can cut that out. Put it on the YouTube. The YouTube. I'm also gonna take a piss before I watch the video because I need to again because I chugged this water bottle fucking quick and it came back to bite me in the ass. I think the reason the gender and abortion thing are rough to talk about is because both sides talk past each other. For example, you see gender as a social construct, and I see it as a link to sex, so there's not really a middle ground. Not really a middle ground. Yeah, well, yeah, basically, right? We just have completely different understandings of how the world works. Which is, like, the big problem with talking to a lot of people. So we would need to have like super long form discussions to see if you would come to the understanding of my position, which I believe is the correct one, and a lot of people agree with me that it's the correct one, and we could talk about that. But yes, of course, we'll take a long form discussion, and it's very hard to do that in a short period of time, and also and yelling at somebody completely stops that conversation dead in its tracks. So there's that too. Like screaming at somebody to agree with you obviously will stop that conversation dead in its tracks. So that's a no bueno. I need... Fuck. That's not what I want to do. I need this. Okay. Yeah, you're 100% right that a lot of stuff. This is the same thing with talking to Nick Fuentes about race, like race realism and stuff like that. Talking to alt-writers about racism and whatnot is very difficult because they have a completely different worldview on what race is. Nick Fuentes sees a black person as an inferior human being. So you have to go through that wall first, which is obviously a task. So... you view gender as a link to sex. I view it as a social construct. I would say that most people agree with my stance, and many historians, I guess, or linguistics, language people agree with my stance on it. This has been true for many, many years. Blah 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 blah. But yeah, it requires a discussion, for certain. But that's why I'm here. To discuss. Oh, fuck this. Alright. I'm gonna wait a couple more minutes. I'm gonna go piss. I'm gonna watch that Milton Friedmen video. And then we'll have more chats, okay, lads? I'll see if I'm just gonna wait, see if anyone else has anything typed in chat. I don't know if any of you guys are. If you are, I'm gonna be couple more seconds. Get the message in. And then I'm going to go piss, and we're going to watch the Milton Friedmen thing. For a good old Marky here. It's turning out pretty cool. I like this little spot I dug out. It looks nice. All right. I'll be right back. All right. Now that everyone's gone. All right. Let's watch the Milton Friedmen. Oh, let me add a little marker. Okay. Let's watch the Milton Friedmen thing. Okay, boys? And girls.
Is that we have so many millionaires and everything in the United States, and we still have so many impoverished people who try to get up into the world. Why is it we have this lack of money where people who can't support themselves decently and get a decent job, where all these big men are up on top making oodles and oodles of money? They don't need it. They can only eat that much, sleep in the bed.
And what do you suppose they do? If they don't eat it and don't use it, what do you suppose they do?
They hoard it.
What do you mean they hoard it? You mean they put it under their pillows?
That's right. No, they keep investing it.
Investing it in what?
That's right.
Oh, no, she got off on the wrong foot already. You fuck, you fell into the trap like in 2 seconds. You didn't have to say anything, you fell into the trap. No, yes, rich people do tend to hoard a lot of money. They don't do anything with it. They just keep it because they literally don't know what to do with it. It just sits there. And maybe it sits in a low interest rate bank account, so maybe it's building a little bit of wealth. But a lot of wealth just kind of sits. Well, it does. That is true. Some people do sit on wealth. Rich people aren't always just spending all of their wealth at one time. You have to agree with that. There's no a rich person isn't sitting at net zero with all their finances in the stock market. Rich people aren't constantly investing every single dime they have. There's a percentage of their wealth that they invest and make money on, and then there's a percentage of their wealth that they keep at home so that they don't go bankrupt tomorrow because of a stock market crash. There's no way that rich people are spending all of their money every single day on stocks. They're not exchanging all their money in the stock exchange every single fucking day. Unless you respond, and then I'll continue watching the video in a second. Now, maybe a lot of maybe your argument's going to be, just before you type it out, I'm not sure. Maybe your argument's going to be that a lot of rich people, let's say Jeff Bezos, a lot of their wealth is based off of their own company because they own a lot of stock. Okay. They invest the majority of it, though. Well, we would have to dig into that to see if that's true. But even if they invest 51% of it, that's 40% not being invested. I'm pretty sure rich people aren't living with just like 10K in their bank account. They're going to have, like a billionaire Bloomberg, the reason why he's capable of spending $300 million on the election right now is because he was sitting on $300 million in his bank account. Way more than that, probably. Just sitting on it like, okay, I'm going to go spend this on the election. Right? Now, I'm not saying that he can't have that money sitting in his bank account, but there needs to be more taxation so that before the money starts sitting in his bank account, there's a tax. There's more tax on it. To make money, you have to have money. Most of Jeff Bezos' wealth is tied up in assets like his business. Yeah, okay, so the point I thought you have. To make money, you have to spend money. Yeah, of course. But the point is that he's not spending all of his money to make money. There's going to be a percentage of his wealth that he's hoarding so that he doesn't lose all of his wealth overnight. That would be completely idiotic. You'd be a complete dumbass to have all of your wealth in your business. That would be so dumb. That would be immeasurably stupid to invest every single penny you make back into your business. Because tomorrow, if Amazon crashes, your entire life saving. You're fucked. So there's no way that Jeff has all of his money in his own business. There's a good percentage of it, a large percentage of his wealth will obviously be tied up in his business. Of course. And that money should be taxed at a reasonable rate. And we can talk about if it's being taxed currently at a reasonable rate and blah, 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 blah. But right now we're talking about the hoarding aspect. There's going to be a large portion of his wealth, not a majority, let's say, I'll be charitable, not a majority of his wealth, but a large portion of his wealth that he's just sitting on. And that's like indisputable. We're not even talking about what ought we do with that money. I'm just trying to talk about that there is that money. That there is money that he's sitting on. Okay, we'll get into what the issue could possibly be. But the lady has already fallen in the trap that she said that he's investing the money. So I'm pretty sure Milton Friedman's going to go, yeah, he is investing all of his money. So he's not hoarding any of it. There's no problem. And then then it's over. I'm pretty sure what Milton Friedman's about to say. And she already fell into the trap by saying that that billionaires are investing money. We'll go over the clip because it's 30 seconds long.
Over here.
Why is it we have so many millionaires and everything in the United States, and we still have so many impoverished people who try to get up into the world? Why is it we have this lack of money where people who can't support themselves decently and get a decent job?
So she's saying that there's a bunch of people who have a fuck ton of money and a bunch of people who don't have a fuck ton of money. No, but listen. Just listen.
Where all these big men are up on top making oodles and oodles of money. They
don't need the money.
That much. Eat, sleep
And what are
in
you
the
supposed
bed.
to do? If they don't eat it and don't use it, what are you supposed to do?
They hoard it.
What do you mean they hoard it? You mean
So they hoard it, which is true. Some people do hoard a fuck ton of money. Can you turn it up? Quiet relative tutors. Oh, okay. Can I turn it up in the thingy? Okay, no, I can't. Turn it up here. That's everyone, though. No one has all of their money invested. Shouldn't we be allowed to have spending money and choose what we want to spend it on? Yes, I'm not getting into any oughts. The problem is, what I said was the trap, is that there's a percentage of wealth that is being hoarded. And the trap she fell into is that she said that that hoarding counts as investing. So we haven't gotten into what Milton Friedman is saying, but what I'm assuming Milton Friedman might say, hopefully he's smarter than this, but if he's a complete moron, he'll say, yeah, you're right. The rich people are investing, so therefore trickle-down economics, therefore poor people poor because poor, or whatever. But what I'm saying is that she got caught in a trap because there is a percentage of wealth that people are hoarding. Everyone hoards a little bit of their wealth, obviously, or you should. Now, some people don't, but you should have like $10K for emergency spending, right? And millionaires have like whatever amount of money hoarded, and it's undeniable that they're hoarding it. But she fell into a trap that she included investing as hoarding, which is completely not true, and Milton Friedman's going to dig into that.
they put it under their pillows?
That's right. No, they keep investing.
See, he says they put it under their pillows, and she says no, they invest it, which is not true. There is a portion of wealth that sits under a pillow. Isn't there a good portion of U.S. citizens that live paycheck to paycheck? Yeah. But what we're talking about is like most middle, like you should have a section of your wealth held off as an emergency. Of course, some people don't live like that, and that's a whole other discussion on poor people.
Investing it in what?
That's right. Yeah.
What are they invested in?
Well, in oil and everything.
See, so already we're off. She wanted to bring up why are millionaires hoarding money, and what can we do with that hoarded money? And now we're already fucked. We're already off that rail, and now we're onto the rail of investing. What are they investing in? And Milton Friedman's just going to carry her down this pathway so that she agrees to trickle-down economics, which is demonstrably false. Trickle-down economics doesn't work.
Where, I mean, all these other people who are
What are they invested in? Don't get off the subject.
No.
What are they invested in?
So she's going to say, well, they're invested in businesses. And then he's going to say, oh, those businesses pay people. Oh, therefore, millionaires good.
Well, they invested in a lot of different things that the little people need.
Well, do they invest it in factories?
Yes.
Does some of that money end up in machines?
Yes.
Do those factories and machines provide ordinary work?
Yep. Here's the exact point I was just talking about. He's carrying her down the trickle-down economics path.
People with jobs or not? What do you suppose the productivity of this country would be and of the wage rate would be if the total amount of capital in this country today was what it was 100 years ago? Where do you suppose the improvements in productivity come from except from the investment by...
I don't even need to watch the rest of this video because my exact point was just said right there, okay? He's talking about where do you think this improved, like what would we do without investment? The argument shouldn't be about investment. It's about what are rich people, what should we do about the pillow of wealth under, the wealth under somebody's pillow. We don't care. Investment's good. I like investment. Capitalism, good. Mucho bueno investorino.
People of their savings.
But if you want to say that trickle-down economics is mucho, no, sorry to break it to you.
But let me go to your fundamental question. First place,
okay.
Nirvana is not for this world. There is no paradise. Of course.
Okay. I'd say nothing. There's no issue with hoarding money. Well, then you'd be wrong. Then you're not a capitalist either, right? Capitalism, the economy grows exponentially the more people are spending money. So if you have a large portion of your wealth, just hoard it away. You're not contributing to the economy in any way whatsoever. This is why Yang brings up UBI, because once jobs are gone, once automation takes over, there will be no more money cycling through the system unless you give money to people, because there's no jobs. In a society where there are no jobs, you just have to give money to people so that there's a cycle to the economy. So if people are hoarding money, they're not adding to the cycle of money. They're just taking their share and sitting on it and doing nothing with it, not adding to the economy in any way whatsoever, which I would say is a bad thing.
Of course, we've got a lot of people who are poorly off.
But they have added with whatever made... Wait, what? But they have added with whatever made them rich. You don't need to clarify that. I don't really understand your question there. But they have added what? Are you saying that they added to the economy? So like when they made the $100 billion that they made, they were taxed on that, and then that's all, and then anything else they get to hoard? Take Jeff Bezos. He wanted to hoard, that's fine. Amazon is adding to the economy. Yeah, but he could add more if he invests what he's hoarding. So do you think the government should take the small amount? I mean, I'm pretty sure what Jeff Bezos has under his pillow isn't a small amount. But what I'm saying is that there should be more taxation so that there's less money going under your pillow in the first place. All the people he hired making money. Okay, trickle-down economics. We already pay income tax and sales tax. I think, well, sales tax, I'm pretty sure is a regressive tax system. It affects poor people more than rich people. The middle class is paying most in taxes. Yes. Yeah. So we want to raise that and put it on the more rich people. We already pay income tax and sales tax. And Jeff Bezos mostly skips out on a lot of income tax because he makes his money through stocks. Jeff Bezos' income is only like $250,000 a year. But what's the issue with trickle-down? Just doesn't work. The issue with trickle-down is that it doesn't work. Yes, the rich get richer, but the poor also get richer. No, the poor typically stay relatively the same. They go up a little bit. The rich get exponentially richer, and the poor stay relatively poor. And we can see this by the fact that wages have stagnated in the United States and in Canada up until, like, what, 2018, when the wage went up to $14 an hour. Wages completely stagnated and did not increase with inflation. So trickle-down didn't work and hasn't worked. I mean, you can see that with wages. The minimum wage in the United States is what, like $7.20, whatever the fuck it is, 7 something, and it hasn't changed and if it changed with inflation, it'd be around $14.50 or something, I think, right? That's what the minimum wage would be in the United States if it was tied to inflation, but it's not. While the rich got richer, the poor stayed pretty much the same. The average American household is up 5K under this president, though. What? What do you mean? But even then, so I'll take this at face value. I'm assuming that you're saying that they have 5K more in value, right? Wages have gone up recently in America. Yeah, but not in okay. You're misunderstanding. Of course, what I mean, okay. So what you're talking about is the rich, yes, the rich got richer, but the poor are also getting richer. But in comparison, the rich are getting exponentially more rich. They're getting super rich, while the poor are getting a little bit more money, right? So yes, wages have gone up. Sure. Let's say wages have gone up $1, a whole dollar. To rich people, they're making multi-millions more. In the time it took for Americans to get a wage bonus, a wage increase from the 1970s to now of $1, millionaires and billionaires have been making infinitely more money, right? So yes, maybe the average household in America has gone up 5K. They have $5,000 extra or 5K extra of wealth, whatever it may be, under this president. Sure, but the rich have gained even more. So we'll take the tax cuts, for example, right? So the tax cuts added, let's say, $400 extra to the average American citizen at the end of the year. Okay, $400 extra in the bank, great. To the rich, they were getting a couple million at the end of the year. Yeah, but everyone's not doing better. But the problem is that everyone's not doing better equally, okay? So the poor are like a little tiny grain of rice better. A little tiny grain of rice better. While the rich are fucking Eiffel Towers better than the poor. Like 1 millimeter on a you guys imperial system. Fuck. Okay. Yeah, well, stick with the grain of rice compared to the Eiffel Tower. Like the poor are getting richer by a grain of rice per year, while millionaires and billionaires are getting richer by Empire State Buildings per year. If everyone gets better equally, or as close to equally as possible, it's better. If the federal minimum wage went up to $15 an hour, all businesses would suffer from unemployment, and unemployment would skyrocket. And then when they want to raise taxes on businesses on top of that, they should just raise the minimum wage at the state level. Well, what's the difference between a federal minimum wage and a state minimum wage being 15? Now, I agree that it should be a state minimum wage, but that's because in Canada, we have a provincial minimum wage of $14 an hour, and our economy, the Ontario economy, the strongest one in Canada, has not been affected whatsoever. If anything, more jobs are available. You're getting paid more. Obviously, the minimum wage went up. More jobs available. People getting paid more. More capital is moving throughout the Ontario economy. Of course, but the gap between how the rich are being affected and the poor are being affected is immense. And my goal, and the goal of people I agree with, I guess, or whatever, reasonable human beings, is to lessen that gap, bring it as close together as possible without destroying capitalism. And that's what I'm a sock dem, is to bring that gap as close together as possible without shattering the system. So, higher taxes. I'm not saying 90% tax. Bernie's plan has the highest marginal tax rate is 52%. If you don't understand what a marginal tax rate is, we can go over that. Of course, I'm not saying get rid of inequality, income inequality, or inequality of any sort. I understand that that's a pretty much fundamental thing of society, is that there are going to be some form of inequality. Of course. And of course, you choose what you do with your money. Of course. But there's a lot of barriers in your way and hurdles and stuff like that. You need your proper education. Of course, rich people will automatically have a better education than poor people. If you're born into a rich family, you will unless of course your parents decide to completely tell you to live on your own 100%, even though you'll have some privilege on top of that, because you'll know people because you're rich and all this stuff. Anyways, But I think most people that disagree are against the taxes. What? What do you mean? Although in reality, inequality is determined by prior generations, not by freedom. Sure. But I think most people that disagree are against the taxes. What do you mean? Disagree with me? Who disagrees with what? It's very simplistic thing to do. Republicans/libertarians don't like taxes. Yeah? Yeah, okay. So? I agree that they don't like taxes. Like, we could have a whole discussion on why taxes are an inevitability of society. And, like, what to do with taxes. It's like a whole other discussion on what to do with taxes. So by increasing taxes, you remove freedom. I would disagree with that. But we have a complete, I guess, different worldview on freedom. Therefore, you can see the majority of the rich are people who obtain their finances not by working, rather by inheriting capital. True? Or the feudal times. Yeah, a lot of rich people do inherit their capital through inheriting. Like, you can't deny that. But yeah, I wouldn't agree that increasing taxes removes your freedom. That doesn't really make any sense. Because it's not like your taxes are just being sucked away into a black hole. Now, you might think that. You might think the government is just a tax black hole. But the government gives you many programs that help you in many different ways. So with public schooling allows you to have the freedom to go to school and get an education equal to anyone else in your nation. Right? So public schooling should be that you get an equal education to people around the entire nation. Yep, no, you still have that freedom. It's just that you live in a society that you want to care for other people, stuff like that. Like, if you would have a lot less freedom in an anarcho-capitalist society than in a heavily regulated economy, of course. Because if you have the freedom to spend the money however you want, somebody's going to pay to have you killed or whatever, or it's going to go back to the feudal times. Do you think that the feudal times were super free? You had freedom to do whatever you want with your money, so the rich just got extremely powerful, and the poor became serfs. So you can move to a different country is an option. And if you don't like the programs, sucks, I guess. Again, like, your option is to move to a different country. Like, this is a whole discussion on how society works, on how we ought to work as a society. Because, like, this is getting into anarcho-capitalist stuff, right? This is super hyper-libertarianism. This is feudalism. Getting into the feudalism talks, right? Because, like, if you were capable of opting out of public school, then you would have a bunch of fundamentalist Christians who just want to homeschool their kids. So now they're less educated, or educated incorrectly or differently than everyone else, and you have all these million different problems. Anyway, don't get me wrong. I'm not claiming for zero taxes, but taxing 50% of anyone's income seems criminal. Well, guess what? Pretty much nobody. The only people getting taxed in Bernie's plan that getting taxed at like 50% is in the millions of dollars. But it's a different conversation on why do you think 50% is criminal, right? Why is that immoral to you to be taxed at 50%? So now I could understand it for somebody who's poor, Because if you only make 10K a year and the cost of living is 7K a year, you literally can't afford to be taxed at 50%. You would die. But if you're a millionaire and you get taxed at 50%, you still have $500,000 a year to deal with, right? I think it's better for society in a whole to keep the money in our pockets, not to give it to the government. The government is extremely wasteful and inefficient. Yeah, so this is just the government black hole argument, which isn't true. No one spends someone else's money as carefully as they spend their own. But the point of a government, right, is it's a representation of the people. So the money the government grabs is their money, so they would spend it carefully. You're the one voting on the government. So the government, if the government is wasting money, you vote them out. Easy. You live in a society of people. This is undeniable. We have to get along. It's undeniable. If you want, you can go and try to live on an island all by your lonesome. Your money won't be worth anything, but because like this is a whole other discussion on where does the value come from, okay? So you have American dollars. Those American dollars are given to you by the government. So you're already, the only reason you have wealth in the first place is because you live in the United States. That money, if the United States didn't exist, American dollars wouldn't be worth fuck all. If somebody takes the fruits of your labor without your consent, is that not that? Okay, don't say that because that's a socialist argument, okay? So you're literally going into socialism right now. Because you would just switch that for labor being your worth, right? So you would argue that labor is your value. So somebody who is paying you without your consent is the key there. Yeah, but you're consenting to living in this country, so therefore you're consenting to taxation. Right? If you don't want to consent to the theft, then leave. And what I mean by like that's like getting into like you're getting pretty close to commie talk there is that they would say that labor, that you being paid a wage is a theft to your labor. Because the wages you're being paid is only a fraction of what your labor is actually worth. Blah blah blah. Yeah, no, but you're consensually living in this country. Right? Every single day that you live here, you are consenting to living here. The moment you turn 18 years old, you can get up, or whatever, so it might change depending on whenever you have the freedom to do things without the constant, like without control of your parents, you can leave the country and go somewhere that has no taxes. You could do that. You are consenting daily to being in this country. Or in the United States. Or whatever country you're in. The only reason you have value in the first place is because the United States, or whatever country you have, has value. The currency they produce has value. Yes, that value comes from you, but that's why you're allowed to keep a hefty portion of your earnings, because you are increasing the value of the dollars, but the government is in control of those dollars because, well, they create the nation. There's a balance. There's cohesion, right? Because to have total freedom, right? If you want total freedom over your wealth, then you can't have a state. Because then, like, right, you'd have to go right straight down to zero taxes. Right? If the government didn't create the nation, though, it just governs. The government didn't create the nation, though. It just governs. It did what? Yeah, no, the government did create the nation. That's what government is governing and creating of nations. The Constitution was a political act made by the government The government is a representation of the people, or it could be the people directly. Like, the government is the nation. Unless, of course, you want to say that people living in the nation are the nation. And, like, no borders, stuff like that, then fine. But then the government is just a representation of those people. Like, the formation of a government is the formation of a country and a nation. That's how countries are formed, is by forming a government. Chat be like, what was this, a funny meme?
After Senator Rand Paul was allegedly assaulted at his home in...
We are witnessing a radicalization of libertarians all across the country. All polls seem to predict a landslide victory for Rand Paul.
Oh my god, look at Bernie. What the fuck? Oprah, 5%.
Dear viewers, we have just...
I guess you could say that, but the country was formed before government. Government was added after. No, I would say that they're in tandem. Now, the institutions of government, you could say, were added after. But we'll just have, like, I guess we're just having different definitions of government because, like, to form the nation, you have to get a semblance of government. The institutions of government may have been added afterwards, right? So you have how the tax system works would have been added after you formed your nation because you don't need to worry about taxations before your nation's even formed. So some institutions of government were, of course, formed after the formation of your government, or the formation of your nation. But the government and the nation formed together because a nation doesn't exist without a government, and a government doesn't exist without a nation. Well, technically not true, because you can have the UN, and it's a government of governments. You know what I'm saying? A nation doesn't really exist without a government. So, to form a nation, you have to form a government. So both basically are made at the same time. And then institutions of said government will be added later.
Received word that Libertarian death squads are taking over the capital.
We've come to take our country back.
The money comes marching home again, hurrah, hurrah. We'll give it a hearty welcome then, hurrah, hurrah. The men, they'll be my property. If they don't work, I shoot through them, and we'll all feel great.
And survivors will be enslaved by country.
When money comes marching home. Anarchy and the anarchy, hurrah.
Good morning, America. Big story this morning as the Agriculture Incorporation declared exclusive rights for the oxygen their plants produce. The monthly subscription for breeding will be of 15 Bitcoin. That's...
My name is TK48. Yeah, my parents couldn't afford the more mainstream copyrighted names.
What the fuck?
I'm a senior advisor at McDonald Megacorp. And today, well, it's gonna be a big day.
Get the hell off me property, hurrah, hurrah. Get a taste of me M60, hurrah, hurrah. My legal wrath is ready.
In other news, another Disney facility was allegedly attacked by the Louis Vuitton Air Force. The conflict between the two companies has only gotten worse since Louis Vuitton accused Disney of violating the non-aggression principle when sound waves from Star Wars 16 entered Louis Vuitton property. Experts also say that Disney's decision to replace their army with Venezuelan child soldiers last year because they cost less Bitcoin might
True.
be the cause of their repeated defeats on the battlefield.
Mr. TK48, the council is waiting for you.
Mexicans I will underpay with roses, day was true, the way would all be.
Alright, so you're probably wondering, how can this guy have a plan to expand the company when all land is privately owned and all monopolies already taken? Well, the answer is North Korea.
What the hell is a North Korea? Can we sell that?
No. It's a statist land, not privately owned by anyone. If we could take control of that land, we would have total monopoly of the entire market for 23 million people.
Wow.
Now, the North Korean statists still have their artillery pointed towards Seoul, and we have McDonald's private properties in Seoul. So we'll have to take that out first. For that, I suggest deploying the Mick Air Force in the Sea of Japan and take care of it with a McNuclear airstrike.
McNuclear
But the McNuclear program is for recreational purposes only.
We don't have to make all our nukes ourselves. We can buy them, like normal people do. We can probably get one for like 65 bitcoins at the Walmart down my street.
Anyway, once that's done, then we can have an EMP deal with the nuclear facilities, and then send the McMarines in to secure the rest of the territory.
But won't the nuke cause some damage?
Yeah, but even if it kills like 1 million people, it's still 22 million people we get a monopoly on. We can even cancel out some of the loss by selling gas masks.
I just have one problem. What about the non-aggression principle?
I'm glad you asked. See, in 1950, North Korea invaded South Korea, where there are now McDonald's private properties. So they technically broke the NAP first.
My God, TK-48, you're one hell of a genius.
Amazing.
Hey, MB77, have you seen that new thing from NSA Corp? If you upgrade to Gold subscription, they can tell you if someone's radio transmissions are interfering with your private property.
Let's try it now, huh?
What the?
Sir, it looks like someone here is transmitting information to Burger King.
Oh no. Jesus.
Looks like you got me.
You Augusto? A spy for Burger King. The name is a reference to statism. And you were at my daughter's wedding.
Nothing personal, Ronald.
I'll send your family to the McGulag for 7,000 years.
The Korean monopoly, you see. It belongs to Burger King.
I'll get you, Burger King!
Legal wrath is ready.
Ah, God. Alright, let's watch the rest of exactly what I predicted would happen.
But if you look at it over time, if you get a sense of proportion, the well-being of the ordinary people...
Hey, look, this is the other point we talked about. Here it is. Look, it's like I predicted everything Milton Friedmen would have said.
...has been the main thing that has been improved by economic progress and economic growth and development. And most residual hard cases of poverty today are the result, again, of a failure of government. Why do we have a black teenage unemployment rate in 30 to 40%? Because of two failures of government. One, a failure to provide decent schooling, which is a governmental responsibility. Has been, whether it should be or not, it has been. And second, because of a minimum wage rate, which prevents those kids who haven't had decent schooling from getting jobs at low pay at which they can earn the skills on the jobs that would enable them to rise to higher pay. If you look at the sources of poverty...
What? Okay, hold on. What?
Which prevents those kids who haven't had...
What if we just take the note from China, kill the poor, then everyone will be rich? I'm going to go with a yikes on that one.
...had decent schooling from getting jobs at the wage rate, which prevents because of two failures of government. One, a failure to provide decent schooling.
The schooling one is dumb because, like, okay, just because the government might be bad at giving schooling doesn't mean we need to decrease taxes. It just means you need to do a better job at schooling.
Which is a governmental responsibility. Has been, whether it should be or not, it has been. And second, because of a minimum wage rate.
And then a minimum wage rate, which is also dumb, because the point of having a job isn't to get experience to move up the like the experience you get from McDonald's isn't gonna move you up the ladder. Sorry to break it to you. McDonald's isn't. You're not gonna become the CEO or anything important in McDonald's by working. It's not gonna happen, my dude. You're not going to amount to anything by working at McDonald's. We can all agree to this, right? That working at McDonald's isn't a good thing to do. It's not going to get you much of anywhere. Why does it look so fucked? Whatever. So, like, the low-wage work, getting you experience, not true. Okay.
Which prevents those.
What if we had private schools, but the government gave everyone a stipend to choose the school, so it was better mix of both? So here's the problem with school choice. Not everyone has the opportunity to actually go to a different school. It's not like every school in a city is right next to each other, right? You might have a school in the south end of town, north end of town, east and west. If you live in the south end of town, and that school happens to be a shit fucking horrible privately run school, well, then now you need to have the privilege to be able to go to the north end of town, west end of town, or east end of town. And if you don't have that privilege, let's say you don't have a car, your parents can't drive you in the morning, you need to take the bus. The bus system doesn't go that way because it's not profitable for the private school to bus everyone around. Maybe they don't even run buses because it would be a waste of money. They just have everyone walk to school because that they don't have to have an expense if they're just walking to school. So the only way you can get to a school is by getting there yourself, and if you can't do that, then you can't go to the school. So then the choice doesn't matter, and you're forced to go to a shit school instead of having all schools be on an equal level around the entire nation, or not even the entire nation, around the state. We'll go because it's provincial in Canada, so we'll go state level in America. It doesn't even have to be a nation thing. It just needs to be provincially based or state based. Yeah, but what if the money they get from the stipend is less than it would be worth to bus, right? Who knows how much a busing system costs to get your kids to school, and however much a stipend would be, like how much would all this cost, right? It's not like your university has a busing system, right? That's a privately owned school. Why it doesn't have a busing system? Wouldn't it want a busing system so that more people can get towards the college, so that more people pay money there? No, that's yeah. No, I know, but we can look at other examples, right? It's not like universities and private schools. It's not like private schools. Yeah, actually, private schools that do exist right now don't have a busing system. In the U.S. work, like I said, for the most part. Well, I would say, yeah, but so this is a different question on levels of education. So I would agree that higher education, post-secondary education, should probably be on a higher level, and probably cost money because it's more an investment into your job. But the prestigious schools bring people to you. What? But being prestigious school brings people to you. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, never mind. I misread that. But being a prestigious school brings people to you. Well, yeah, of course. But again, if you don't have access to that, you can't go. So if you can't afford it, now with the stipend, you would be able to afford it. But again, if you can't travel across town, you're fucked. Now with universities, it's different because it's a higher form of education, It's more to set up your career, so it's an investment because typically a university or college education should lead directly to a job. So blah 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 blah. This is a whole discussion on whatnot, but we'll mostly agree because I don't think, for the most part, I don't think that universities should be free. I believe that, like in Canada, we have an OSAP system, Ontario Student Application Payment, where basically 40% of your school is free. 40% of your tuition is a grant. So I'd agree that like higher education doesn't need to be free, but we're talking about public education, which is like a base starting level education that everyone should get, because that's how you function in society, is with that education. If you don't have that education, you're pretty fucked in society. So allowing that to be accessible to everyone is super important, and the best way to do that is to make it public. Because it gets the most amount of access to the most amount of people. Yeah, it gives the most amount of access to the most amount of people. Do I want... Should I get stairs there? I don't even know. I have a path here. But it's kind of like a go. It's like pretty ugly. But I don't know if stairs would look any better. I could get some oak stairs, I guess, whatever. I wonder if they'll ever add like dirt stairs to Minecraft. I feel like it could look a little bit better, but I don't know. I don't know how it would look. I feel like they've tested it and been like, ooh. It's something to make like going up dirt look more natural. Like this looks cool-ish, not really. Anyways, let's go back to the video.
Those kids who haven't had decent schooling from getting jobs at low pay at which they can earn the skills on the jobs that would enable them to rise to higher pay. If you look at the sources of poverty, you will find most of them are derived from what I regard as wrong-headed government policies.
Okay, it's basically the same. That's okay. But yeah, school choice is kind of regressive because not everyone has the opportunity to go across town to go to school. It's not like all the schools are in the same location. So it's difficult for somebody to go across town to get an education. So having a basic level of education throughout your entire state is a good way to, is the best way to have education to get to everyone. And if that system is failing, well, you get somebody in office that will do a better job of conducting that education system, funding that education system, whatever needs to happen. Yo, thanks for the follow, buddy. I appreciate that. Fuck! It's good when people follow me who are like in disagreement with me. That makes me feel like super uber good because it means that like I'm not coming off as some fucking dickwad. Which is good. That's what I want to do. I want to come to an understanding of my position and your position. Hopefully we can have a nice general conversation, which we've been doing for the most part. Is this tree? No, the beehive one's over there. So we have all these paths. I don't know what to add to them, really, if I need to add anything. But I've got a general layout of how the paths will work, so we'll have them kind of going in each direction or whatever the fuck. I don't know. Awesome. It's looking pretty nice. I like this Greek look. Even though it's completely unfeasible in the real game because of how much quartz you fucking need. Holy shit. That's a lot of quartz. What else we got? We got any hot takes? I know a lot of people left, but anyone else have any hot take arenas? This is fun. It's a fun time. I haven't had to deal with a troll, which is great. Holy fuck. Some fucking idiots are so annoying. I want an apple. 24th. Oh, dude. La Resistance comes out tomorrow for Hearts of Iron 4. Oof. Play Hearts? Oh, fuck. That game makes me somewhat hard. I have like 400 hours in it. America, Spain. True. Look at my bees. Look at them go. They're zucking up all those poppies. Hearts of Iron 4. This game. Ready for the next Democratic debate bloodbath? Maybe. I don't know if I'm going to watch it or not, because I don't typically care, being that I'm from that country. But it's sometimes funny watching people just fucking tear into each other. Yeah, the Democratic debate is fucking hilarious to watch. But people deal with a lot of DMCA, so it's harder for me to, like, I don't want to get in any shape, way, or form DMCA, since I have absolutely no sway with Twitch at all, or anything like that. I don't want to have to deal with anything like that. So if I do watch it, I'll be gaming in the background, so it's just in the background, so I don't have to deal with fucking anything. I could post it up on YouTube and hopefully not get DMs. Actually, I probably just won't post it on YouTube, which is a pretty fucking ripperino. They probably won't do it to well, they might do it to Bernie because he's pretty far in the lead now because of Nevada, right? So they might try to dogpile Bernie because of Nevada. I don't think you actually need this part anymore. I think they made it so that you only need the but yeah, jumping on Mike Bloomberg pretty much killed his campaign. They'll probably keep doing it. I don't know what the numbers are. Because, again, he's literally basically just betting on Super Tuesday. So they'll probably still jump on him up until Super Tuesday. They'll probably do a little bit more dogpiling on Bernie because he won Nevada. Other than that, we'll have to see. Who else? Who did good in the last? I think, Klobuchar, I think she polled well, right? After the debate. So it'll be interesting to see if she can keep that up or not. I think she did well in Nevada. Wasn't she a strong third? Interesting to see if Biden can kind of reinvigorate his run. See what he does. Yeah. Yeah, he's probably not, but he did, like, the only two people, so a very important vote in the United States of America is the black vote, right? And the only two candidates that have that was Biden and Bernie. And if Biden's fucked, then Bernie's the only person with a large portion of the minority vote anymore. Yeah. So if, like, Biden's fucked, it paves a pretty good path, I think, for Bernie. It seems to. Yeah. But we'll have to see. You're gonna pick a black vote because he's gay. It's that simple. Say what you want, but being gay in the black community is looked down on. You're probably right. It's difficult to see where Pete will go because of homophobia in the United States. That's 100% true. Homophobia is a difficult barrier to get around. Same thing with sexism, of course. Obviously, all the women on stage have a much more difficult time of getting elected. So yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. But yeah, Pete just doesn't have the black vote at all. So, well, that's homophobia. I know you might have like a different. I know you see the word phobia. I get it, but homophobia is like not liking gay people. You ran a racist police station. Potentially, maybe. I would need to dig into that more, but it is definitely damning that he fired the first African American police chief and fuck, what do you call it? Fire leader, fire chief. He fired both of those people, so that's a big stain on his resume. Yeah, Raging Molnir, it is homophobia. Homophobia is the dislike of gay people and LGBT members. Same way, like, transphobia isn't being afraid of trans people, it's not liking trans people. It's just how the term works. No, phobia is something you're scared of. You can try to redefine it if you want. It's not. I'm not trying to redefine it. It's how people use the word. I understand that you see the word homophobia and think it means scared, but most people who use homophobia refer to it as somebody who does not like gay people. I understand the word homophobia typically means, the word phobia typically means scared of. But in the case for words like homophobia, transphobia, Islamophobia, now Islamophobia might be a more direct fear thing of people fearing Muslims, but yeah, homophobia in today's language refers to people not liking gay people. The black arrest for possession of marijuana went up during his time. That'd be yeah, that could be a damning number. It's true. In today's language, so people have redefined it exactly. Okay, yes, but we do this all the time with words every single day. We're not. This isn't some traditionalism bullshit, okay? No, you can. Oh my god, I don't even know how to. I've never tried to. Urgimix. You could say it's redefining, but we do this with words all the time. We've done this with everything. It's happened all the time. But yeah, like homophobia has been used for many, many years as a term to reference somebody who hates gay people. That's just how it's been used for many, 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 many years. Now he's referring to the redefinition of the word phobia, but it's not used. The word phobia, when attached to something like homophobia and transphobia, isn't used as scared. It's used as hatred. Yeah, no, yeah, I know what you're saying, but the you can reference it as being redefined, and the guy is still incorrect. There's also absolutely nothing wrong. Because, well, yeah, sorry, he's still incorrect because there's absolutely nothing wrong with redefining words. We do it all the time. That's not the door I want to use. What door looks best on these quartz things? I don't even know. Oak looks bland. I'm not going to use like a steel door. That looks dumb. Spruce door? We'll figure out what the door is. And I'll guess that you think homophobia is rampant in the US. No, I wouldn't say rampant. It's definitely a problem. There's no way you can deny that it's a problem. I'm not sure that it's rampant. But if you look at basically any polling numbers, a large portions of the population don't like gay people, especially if they're religious. That's like undeniable. Okay. Spruce. Spruce kind of does look the best. Jungle door. Okay. Oh, that's it. Oh. Right? That's it. Like that's the door. That's the door. That's just the door. Oh my god. There are also over 1,000 organized hate groups in America against it. Yeah. According to whom? According to like any form of data on the matter ever. Like multiple polls. Polling fundamentalist groups. There's over 1,000 hate organizations. Like Southern Poverty Law Center. Any polling they've ever done. What do you mean according to who? Oh, okay. I don't think the Southern Poverty Law Center says it's rampant either. I don't think they say that. Alright, we're just gonna defame the Southern Poverty Law Center now. A nice meme. True, guys. Southern Poverty Law Center. Complete fraud. I forgot. You don't like it? If I disagree with it, it's not real. It's fraudulent. SPL is being sued for defamation multiple times over. Okay, well, you can be sued. That doesn't mean you're guilty. Yeah, and the FBI has numbers. And the CIA has numbers. They have lost lawsuits. Okay. Can you send me those lawsuits? They've made multiple settlements. Can you send me those settlements? What were the... Because, like... Sure, settlements may have been set. Doesn't mean the entire fucking organization is fraudulent. Like... Because you can expand this to, like, a million different things, right? Oh, private schools are fraudulent because I was capable of suing them for something. X company is fraudulent because I sued them. Why is this? Oh, God. For one, they settled with Quillam after claiming they were anti-Muslim. Quillam was started by Majid Nawaz, a Muslim. Okay. By the way, you can be anti-Muslim and be a Muslim, just so you know. You can be racist towards a race that you are. Just an FYI. Look at people like Milo Yiannopoulos, right? Gay person, hates gay people. You can look at what's her name? Blair White. Trans, also hates trans people. She's trans, and she also hates trans people. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, okay. She don't hate trans people. There's like multiple videos of her saying that like trans medicalist stuff, right? So, I mean, this is a huge discussion, but yeah, Milo Yiannopoulos has been like quoted multiple times saying that he hates being gay. He views it as a sin, so I'd call that self-hate and hating gays, yeah. And Blair White has made countless videos, countless transphobic videos. Like, what? What am I being cognitively dissonant about? Milo's pretty much a dead meme on the internet now, but like, there's endless quotes of him saying that he doesn't like, that he's gay. That he views, like, you can't deny that Milo views homosexuality as a sin, right? right? Yeah, okay, that's what I would assume, right? Because he makes jokes about it? Really? What? They're not jokes. He was making legitimate statements about gayness being a sin. What? Tell me about delusion. Okay, I'm gonna assume that you just haven't watched that much Milo Yiannopoulos, or you're completely unaware of who Milo Yiannopoulos is. Show me these quotes. Let's not. I'm not gonna go around digging it. I could find them, but okay. Let me respond to other buddy there first. Hold on. Where's your? Because nonstop is relatively reasonable. Miles a provocateur though. Yeah, but him being a provocateur doesn't make him not homophobic. Like, right? You have to agree with that. If I go around telling black people to kill themselves or whatever, if I'm being super uber racist, I can't just be like, but I'm just being a provocateur. I'm not being racist. I'm only saying that you shouldn't be gay because I'm a provocateur. I don't actually think gayness is a sin. I'm gay, of course. That's what like this. No, it's being homophobic. Lux Champ, what up, dude? Not much. Just talking to Nonstop and Ragin. Nonstop's being pretty reasonable. Ragin. Yeah, on the show with Joe Rogan, he openly says he's homosexual. If you can find me that clip, that'd be great. You're from Canada? Yes, I'm from Canada. That's why the flag's there. I don't know if he believes everything he says, I guess, is what I'm saying. He just says what he thinks will get him a rise. Well, of course, but that's a bad thing, right? So even if he isn't aware that what he's saying is homophobic, it's still homophobic. And then we can dig into the Blair White stuff more.
That's your people. Catholics trying to hide that information.
We're great at PR.
No, we could do. We're technically doing American. We've been doing American politics for a while. I can talk about anything. It's just my opinion on stuff, but I don't uber care. We were talking about the Democratic debates for a while, but now we're on to stuff. Here, Rogan argues against his views on homosexuality. Okay, cool.
Last thing they want.
Talking about Milo
I went to Catholic school, man, for a whole year. Cured me.
Well,
Fixed me up good.
That's where you get your fine sense of right and wrong from. No, wait, let's not do that.
Well, with right and wrong as far as what is right and what is wrong.
With you?
No, I got lucky. They beat me a little
bit.
What do
you got lucky?
Me
you got
bit.
unlucky. You didn't get that taste of... no, I said, just like I said earlier, if it weren't for Father Michael, I would have given far less good head. I mean,
there was a real Father Michael?
So much less... You know, he's going to get killed now, but...
Who was Father Michael?
I'm not... No, I bet...
Was a real dude? I should maybe suck his dick? For real?
Don't make me. I was quite enthusiastic about it. I fucked my English teacher too.
How old was he at the time?
I don't know. He's quite young, quite hot.
Really?
Yeah.
And so that's where it all started? With Father Michael?
No.
Was that post the tranny?
Yeah, it was post. So I wasn't
drag
abused
queen?
as a child or anything like that.
So
it was quite a
you already had the
I don't
five.
think
Somebody like this is all wrong. I need to talk to Father Michael. He's like, suck my dick and shut the fuck up. And you're like, religion is awesome.
You see, I really had no hope, did I? I was never going to end well.
Well, it seems like you kept stumbling into dicks. I mean, I
just kept falling on them through life.
I don't know what would have happened if a heterosexual man like me
30 years I've just been falling on dicks.
Was in the same circumstances as you early on. I mean, obviously things would have went very different. So I'm not sure if I buy the not born this way.
You'd go down great in a gay club.
Go down?
Well, I mean, you know, you go down. We have is that a British expression? You go down well?
No,
I don't mean oral sex.
Yeah.
So go down well means you'd be popular.
Go down well would be like the way you describe a meal or a drink.
Oh, it goes down well. Yeah. So no,
like taking the piss.
Yeah.
It took me a while to get what the hell
right,
I
like, do you
meant.
want a cup of mine? Yeah. Which again is another thing gay people seem disproportionately into.
They're appealing each other?
No, there seems to be a lot of...
Raging, we're trying to find the clip, my guy. It's the wrong clip. He sent...
This is what I'm saying. People are only gay to be transgressive. They choose to be gay to be naughty.
Oh, there. Okay, there's a clip. There we go.
Which again is another thing gay people seem disproportionately into.
They're appealing each other?
Well, there seems to be
it's all sin.
This is water sports.
It's all
this is it, you
it's
see.
all against the
this
Lord.
This is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
People are only gay to be transgressive.
Why
They choose to be gay
away,
to be naughty.
How come you're not praying the gay
They
away?
choose to be gay to be naughty.
It seems like you have all
and now
the
being
right
a
components
homosexual
in place.
I know.
To pray the gay away.
I just can't
full belief
tear
and
myself
respect
away
for Christian
from the
values.
Can't tear myself away
Come
from the
on.
I've tried.
Maybe as you get older
Maybe
and
I
your
should be
sex
celibate or something.
dries up a
I
little
always
bit.
think I would have made a good priest. Do you think I'd make a good priest? I think I'd make a good priest.
Well, you make a good priest if you think the guy that made you...
So there he made. Now, we can be charitable, say it was a joke. He never really expresses it as a joke, but we could say maybe it's a joke that he's like, oh yeah, gay people. They're just doing it as a rise. They're just doing it as to be dangerous or whatever he said.
You suck his dick was a good priest. That kind of good priest.
He was a great priest. Honestly, like he was the.
Okay, so here's the point. Here's the thing. So we can take that as a joke, but when he says it, he said transgressive. Okay. Anyways, but when you say stuff over and over and over again, it becomes less of a joke. So this is one of many clips of him saying this stuff, and he said it over the many years. I understand you don't get this. It's not registering in the brain. That's fine. I won't be able to get this through your brain, but I'll cut up his content. Hopefully someone will understand.
He
was good other than that?
I've never had a better singing tutor.
Yeah, but not... Okay, I understand that you think that anything that is said bad, like you can say anything. I understand that you're probably of the super uber anarcho-libertarianism brain, galaxy brain take that like anything you say, as long as you say it's a joke, doesn't mean anything, right? So you can go around yelling super racist things, and as long as you say it's a joke, it's mucho bueno, everything's fine. But that's not how reality works. I'm sorry to break it to you. Have fun with your compelled speech laws. Yeah, so here's just a bunch of random shit. You have almost no idea what you're talking about, but that's fine. It's cool. I'm not trying to change your mind because I know it'll never work because you're already way too far deep into the echo chamber you came from. So it's cool. Dank.
He was great.
Singing teacher.
But if you ever want to talk about this more in depth, if you want to step up to the plate, Discord is open. My Deuterino, hop on in.
It's out of me. I didn't even know I could produce.
Well, he worked your plumbing.
Shattering the chandeliers, kind of.
But was he good outside of what he did? Like, was he a good religious scholar? Was he a good teacher?
I think he was just a parish priest. I mean, I
just
really
a fucking creep getting...
Yeah, no, I understand that anything I bring up, any clip I bring up to you, you're just going to reply with, oh, but it's a joke, my dude. So I'm never going to get it through your brain. But I'll bring it up. Clearly, Milo Yiannopoulos is being homophobic in this clip. We could see that. Now, you might be able to chalk it up as a single joke, but he says it multiple times in many other clips, and I can bring up any of those clips, and you'll just say it's a joke. But it might be a deeper underlying identity of his that he doesn't like gay people. Kylo talked about it as well.
Oh, because I don't...
His dick sucked then.
He's gonna get lynched now.
How's he gonna get lynched? Do people know who he is?
I don't think so.
What's his name?
Well, I'm not saying.
Well, how old were you at the time? You were a little kid, and he was like what?
You're just trying to.
Was he in his 20s or 30s?
Yet another feminist strategy that you have adopted in addition to your language policing.
Trying to out-pedophile? You were the one who was anti-pedophile earlier.
I told you it wasn't pedophilia. I was
after I was
I was in my teens.
14.
I was in my teens.
Something
like that.
That's what you said. 14 is pedophilia, buddy.
Yes.
I don't know how they rock it in merry old England.
I was in my teens.
Over here in my country, and
fucking
where you are right now,
you've never seen a 15-year-old girl at any point in your life, however old you were. You've never seen a 15-year-old girl you thought soft.
Yeah, when I was 15.
No, when you were 25. When you were 25, dude. When you were 25, when you were 30, you will have seen girls about 15 you thought were hot.
Now what the fuck? Okay, this is just pedophilia at this point. What the fuck?
I thought they were little kids.
No, you didn't.
I thought, damn, she's gonna be hot, but I didn't want to fuck her.
Bullshit.
Not bullshit at all. You can't tell me what I was born into.
I think if you're 14...
Born like this.
You were born this way. You were born a dreary nitpicker.
No, you're trying to make it so I'm a fucking creeper like you.
No. I'm not. Yeah, totally joking, guys. Totally 100% a joke.
I'm into 14-year-olds. How dare you, sir? No.
I'm not into 14-year-olds.
Well, that
Don't
fucking
put this
guy
on me.
who says a great guy, he was into 14-year-olds. Yeah, he's a terrible person.
Oh, he's joking because he's not into 14-year-olds, guys.
No.
He certainly was.
I was a very mature 14-year-old.
Yeah. Well, in your case, he got it right. You got the right guy to molest.
It wasn't molestation.
That's absolutely molestation.
It wasn't molestation. It was perfectly consensual.
I don't think it is when they're 14.
When I was 14.
Yeah. Okay, so this is just a pedophile thing. We can skip this. What's this one?
I don't think my sexuality is an important component.
It's a huge part of you. You talk about it all the time. Well, it's a massive part of what we've talked about on the show.
I think
it comes up anytime you want to make a funny point. It comes up anytime you want to define your sexuality or your urges or your decadence.
I think people
jump to it because I think it's you.
Well, I think people leap to the most different thing about themselves, or the most unusual thing about themselves, anytime they want to be funny or be, Didn't
he come out and say something that about that though? Like it was his way of coping or something, and he says some serious underlying issues with it? Yeah, I think so. But the problem is that he didn't do that for a long time. He was just saying that it's cool, that it wasn't pedophilia. So if that's true, if this is his coping mechanism, then he didn't do a good job with it, and he should have got help. But he didn't. He just never dealt with the problem and used his platform. He accepted pedophilia on his platform, and his platform goes out to millions of people, which is very dangerous. But that's like, but I don't think that was a big downfall of Milo. Like, it was for a while. I think he kind of recovered from it, and then he got shot down by being a homophobe. So.
That's why black comedians talk about being black a lot. Chris Rock always talks about, blacks and the N-word. It's why, Muslim comedians only ever talk about Islam. It's, gay comedians talk about being gay. I think that's, you go to that because it's the most different, funny thing about you. It's a sort of a form of laziness, I suppose. So I don't know that's particularly relevant. But
no, wait, listen, it's absolutely relevant.
Well,
You're supposed to
make a
be
joke out of it, but if I could,
death in a lot of cultures.
Well, in Muslim cultures, not in ours. Not in ours.
Not true. Now, current day, but Catholicism and Christianity historically, and a lot of people to this day would want Milo brought to death based on their religious views. But thankfully, there's a separation of church and state, so that doesn't happen.
And it's only the Muslim world that does that now. It was 11 countries.
Well, they're the last ones that continue the grand old tradition of killing gay people. But that shit's been around forever. I mean, what does it say in the Bible about a man lying with another man?
I think if I could choose, I wouldn't be homosexual.
Really?
There it is. If I could choose, I wouldn't be a homosexual.
That doesn't make me self-loathing.
So if someone came out...
That's a joke, guys? True.
Doesn't make me self-loathing.
Pfizer
came out with a pill to make me straight.
Does.
No, it doesn't.
You don't think it makes you self-loathing to hate a part of what you are?
I don't hate a part of what I am. I love all of me, but if I could choose to be even better, then I would be.
So you'd be better if you were straight?
Yes.
Wow.
So that's just a joke, guys. It's better to be straight, not homophobic at all, guys. Just a joke. Just memeing in my very serious tone. It's just a joke in my super serious, not joking tone. Yeah, but his other beliefs are homophobic. What do you mean? He literally just said that it's better to be straight than gay. It's like straight up homophobia.
It would be.
I don't know how to explain without ranting. Well, you can join my Discord. We can talk about it.
Johnson
Any gay person would be better if they
came
were straight.
along and had an anti-gay pill.
Yeah.
You would take it.
Well, it would be career suicide, but I probably would, yeah.
I don't need to hear Cal Klinsky talk. Like, sure, he's following his other beliefs, and those other beliefs may not have been his choice, right? He may have been indoctrinated into those beliefs. But they're still homophobic beliefs. What he said there is still homophobic. No matter your upbringing. Okay, what else do I want to build? Do I have like, oh, let's just check out what I have nearby. So that points, yeah, okay. No, I'm sure he'd rant about justification based on beliefs. If I'm being, I think what you do. But I don't know. I would let him speak. I'm not gonna put words in his mouth. Ranting about homosexual or homophobia. Got the Trudeau tongue going. And why does Trudeau have to suck so much fucking peanuts at talking about talking in general? It's like biologically it is better to be straight. I don't think it is debatable. There's no real biological benefit for being gay. And what the fuck? I don't know. Oh, my bit rate dying. We're good. I know how that sounds crude and old school, but I don't think most people believe being gay is normal. I'm not saying that being gay is bad, and I'm not homophobic. Okay. So, no, I'm assuming, so the biological benefit we'll be talking about is having kids, which, how is that a benefit, right? What is, like, reproduction is a natural thing that happens. It's not a benefit or a disservice, because you can benefit a society in other ways. That's why we see other animals have homosexual, like being homosexual, right? There are other animals that that are gay. We see this with dolphins. I'm pretty sure monkeys fuck each other in the ass all the time. Many other animals do homosexual things, and many other animals are homosexual because there's no real detriment to it, right? So, is the end of all living. But reproduction could be also seen as just a baseline. It's just a thing that all creatures do, and there's different ways to get to reproduction. Okay, a gay person in a society can defend the society just as well as anybody else, which will lead to more reproduction. And we can also see that reproduction isn't a big thing. Like, isn't how would I word this? Determinant is not continuing your lineage. The determinant is not continuing your lineage. What? Yeah, so what I was going to bring up is that look at lions. Actually, look at most other animals. Many other animals that live in packs. Not everybody breeds. It's one male who is the strongest in the bunch that breeds with everyone else. So, with that in mind, that means that as long as there's one straight male in the pack, hey, little white racist bit. True, guys. Good meme. Yeah, but so the objective of all living things is to reproduce, right? But and he's out of here. All right, we can ignore that. Because it is the objective of living things, you should live to reproduce. So, but the problem is that that's not true, right? So you look at lions. A lion that isn't capable of reproducing in their pack just moves on and finds another pack, or is like defending the Actually, probably lions are a bad example. I think deers are the better example, where they fight, but they still all move together. Deers will still all travel together and live together, even if there are weak males in it. And same thing with wolves. So a wolf pack or a deer conglomerate, I don't know what you would call a group of deers. So those groups, as long as there's one straight male, it doesn't even have to be straight. As long as there's one male willing to reproduce in a group of people, in a group of animals, the rest can all be gay, and that tribe, all of them actually can be gay as long as one wants to reproduce, because there's no inherent like necessity. Reproduction isn't inherently straight. You can be gay and reproduce, right? You donate your sperm. The sperm you have goes to somebody else. How big is my delay, by the way? Because my stream dropped. I don't know if my delay is like massive or not. But yeah, so I'm hoping my word's getting across, right? Yes, but they fight to reproduce. A lot of the time, the people at the bottom not reproducing have underlying issues. The end goal of the species is to survive. Wanting to continue lineage is natural and is ingrained in all living things. Yeah, but what I'm saying is that to reproduce, you can be gay and still reproduce. Obviously, you can donate your sperm. That sperm gets picked up by a woman. She gets artificially impregnated, and you, a gay man, have reproduced. There's nothing inherently. You can reproduce as a gay person at any point in time, because all that, there's nothing straight. Having sex with a woman doesn't make you automatically straight, right? You can't deny that. So we could every single human being on the planet could be gay right now, and as long as we still artificially reproduce, or even just reproduce, we would still survive. Yeah, but that's not true. You could be bisexual. So we've evolved super heavily in society based. So this is a lot more convoluted than just animal basis, right? This is less primitive. We have our society is clearly less primitive than that, right? I think you're just thinking about it on a very primitive basis, which is an incorrect way of looking at it. Plus, you're looking too much at reproduction being an essential pillar of humanity, which, or a sexual pillar of sexuality, which is just not, right? As demonstrated by the fact that we can artificially inseminate others, and you could be gay and still reproduce, because you just need to have sex with a woman to reproduce. But you don't need to be straight to have sex with a woman. Yeah. So exactly. Yeah. If you're gay and you think that reproducing is essential for human existence, you would fuck a woman. You would still be gay, right? Well, it wouldn't be. It's abnormal to our society because most people are straight, and that's like what normal is against the grain. But it doesn't have to be abnormal. Because if we were all gay, if every single human being was gay, everyone wanted to. If the way humanity worked was that once a year we would all get together and fuck, just to reproduce. But for the rest of society, we all were gay. Then the abnormal thing to do would be to have a straight relationship. Oh, a drowner. Interesting. So. Sure, it might be abnormal just because of how the dice was rolled, but that doesn't mean it has to be abnormal. No, I know, but there's nothing wrong with it. Is the point? A lot of species have homosexuality with them ingrained. Part of their like species. There's homosexuality in it. Like the animal kingdom also produces homosexual beings. It's probably a better way to describe that. I don't know if I want that or that. I think I want the light thing there. And this here. I think that looks better. Like I think you're just too strongly looking at you're just traditionalist, really, right? You're taking authority from things that have been. But wishing to fit in and weren't abnormal. You're right. Him not wanting to be gay because, yeah, that's not homophobic. But when he says that being gay is a bad thing, is a sin, is bad, if that's homophobic. So sure, him saying that, oh, it would be better in society for me to be straight, that'd be true. But that's not the way he describes it. The way he says it as is being gay is bad. You are better off being straight. He's never described it as a societal thing, right? If he did ever describe it as a societal thing, this would be a completely different discussion. He wouldn't be targeted as a homophobe. But unless, of course, you can find me a clip of him saying that in today's current society, with homophobia being so bad, it's better for you being straight. There would be no disagreement with that clip. But there's no clip of that ever existing. He's never said that being gay today is bad because of homophobia. No, he says that being gay is bad, period. Being straight is better. Which is a homophobic statement, if that wasn't clear. Would I put myself ideology? Oh my god, sock down. Okay, that's the word I'm saying. Of course, but it's still pretty bad. And again, that even if it was at its the lower homophobia is, the worse his statement gets. Because if homophobia was at an all-time low, then why would it be better to be straight? Like, it wouldn't be, right? So him saying it's better to be straight, if there's all-time low homophobia, makes the statement more homophobic. Because it's straying farther and farther away from the possibility that he's talking about societal homophobia. What did I want to do here? Oh yeah, put a big old, like, a light in the middle. Nice. I don't know if I just wanted to... I probably have it more than one block. And then probably we'll just get some fucking... Not some concrete. Where's the wool at? Homophobia is less than it ever... Okay. Oh yeah, no, I have to update the shader. I was using a shader, but then they came out with the Bees update 1.15, and the shader broke, obviously. So I'm waiting for it to update. I don't know if it's been updated yet or not. I haven't checked. But I will once I know that it's updated. But yeah, the new update came out, and it broke the shader. Where is the... So there's carpet, but where's the wool? Where's wool at? Oh, there it is. Rip. Blue wool. Just want blue wool. I like blue wool. Blue wool is nice. I like the color blue. Oh, that looks mint. Oh yeah. That's the way it goes. Look at that. That looks fucking... artistic. Oh, now look at that. What if I feel... No. By the way, nonstop, good job. Putting your words to putting your thoughts to text. Usually, these conversations are super ineffective because people don't know how to fucking type out like coherently, and I'd rather them just join Discord. But you're doing a good job. It's taking longer than I would like. It would be better if you're in Discord, but you're doing a good job of not being in Discord. So, good job. I don't have a tab open. Being Israeli in a largely progressive city my whole life. Nuance mattered, lol, true. Yeah, fair enough. But like in comparison to like how the way you speak and how fucking Raging speaked, and that like it's day and night. So imagine that I have to deal with Raging. I have to deal with people like Raging way more than you. So it's brain cancer. Oh my god, worst thing about living in Canada is when you're fucking shoveling and you break your fucking shovel. Oh my god. It's the worst possible thing. Makes you feel jacked, but you're also like, fuck, I can't shovel my driveway anymore. Because I broke my fucking shovel. These fucking phantoms. They can't attack me, but they spawn because I haven't slept in. These fucks. Disgusting! Yeah, hopefully... What question? Oh, ideology... oh my god. Ideologically? I said Sock Dem, so... Destiny area... Bernie-ish area... Bernie has a couple more radical ideas than I do, but in general, that kind of area, Destiny-ish area, yeah, it'd get more like nuanced, but I'd say like, I guess a little bit more left than Destiny, maybe socially, maybe, and to the right of Bernie probably. It's hard to hammer down, but you'll figure it out if you watch my content daily, right? You're gonna do that, right? Every time I stream, you're gonna be right here, right? Even I'm just gaming, because I also like just gaming. Yeah, perfect. Thanks. I appreciate that a lot. In about, in a March or something, I should be having, by the way, here's an update on content. So I'll give a spiel since we're not talking about anything. So hopefully I get more into streaming because I want to, but it's hard when I don't have a lot of people watching. It's very demoralizing to be like, okay, I've been streaming for 5 hours and literally no one's here. And I have 280 something followers. Thanks. But hopefully I'll get more people talking, stuff like that, blah, blah, blah. I'll be more into like communities and stuff like that online because my biggest problem is that I don't have a super supportive group around me for streaming. So my friends don't super uber care. They have own things to deal with, which is fine. That's great. Power to them. But it's hard to stream when like 90% of your friends are like, I don't give a shit about your stream. I also like saying edgy humor. And it's like, okay, well that's not allowed on my stream. And they're like, okay, well I want to say the edgy humor. It's like, okay, all right, okay. Guess I'm not streaming right now. So it's hard. And then, so on the topic of getting into communities, Jesus Christ, that came out really rough. Thoughts on keeping America great again? Hold on. Dude, saying that's why I would never stream. Yeah, true. Yeah, well, I just enjoy streaming because I like talking to a million people, and thankfully the way I was brought up, I don't super care about like IRL relationships or relationships in general. So I'm going to do this anyways, but it's a good way to boost it is to get involved with the community. And in saying that, in March at some point, hopefully I'll be having a chatterino / interview thingy with actual Jake from, actual Jake, you know. All right, nonstop. Thanks for having the talk with me too. You did really well. I appreciate you. Come back soon. I love you, okay? Yeah, hopefully I have a nice little chatterino with actual Jake and introduce myself to his community. We have a nice little chatterino, and it's good. I was like, I can introduce myself to a community in more like basic ways by like just showing up in chat and talking and stuff like that. But I kind of suck at that because I fucking hate small talk, and I'm not good with that. So I was like, okay, what if I just have an interview or like a chat with Jake, and that's how we do it. Because I'm a streamer, he's a streamer. Of course, I'm infinitely smaller. Actually, now I'm only 3,000% smaller. What does he get? Average like 200 views. Actual Jake from used to be Hugo and Jake Reloaded, but now it's Hannah. The Bible Reloaded and Hannah and Jake. I don't know, so a Twitch streamer, a bigger Twitch streamer. You might see him around on the politics sometimes. If you watch Mindwaves is Big Bang podcast. Maybe you watch that sometimes. You would have seen him there. If you watched Destiny, would have appeared on a Big Bang podcast with Jake, so you've been there. Anyways, basically streamer. I've watched his content for a long time. And yeah, cool. Anyways, to Ian's question, your thoughts on keeping America great again? What does that mean? That's my thoughts. What the fuck does anyone mean when they say that? Keep it great. Okay, what is great about America? After Trump made it, keep it great. After Trump made it great. How did he make it great? How many times have I flown on this mountain? Also, pretty sure Liverpool are going to win the English Premier League without losing. Keep kicking the illegals out in it. Well, he hasn't done that, so okay. So America apparently isn't even great yet because he hasn't kicked out all the illegals. So good try, but you've already failed. So how can you keep America great if it's not even great yet? Because he hasn't even kicked out all the illegals. So you failed. He kicked out 90%. I don't think so. Don't think so. Pretty sure that's also a lie. So he did. When? Can I get a number on that? When did 11 million people get kicked out of America? Trump. Trump promises deportation of millions of illegals. Why Trump has deported fewer immigrants than Obama. Interesting. It was on Alex Jones' show. No, I know he's trolling, but it's fun to keep part of the troll because it's not a good troll. I don't trust your liberal sources. True. USA Today. No, new Trump means more deportations. Cool. Trump isn't matching Obama deportation numbers. Okay. Okay. ICE signals mass immigration arrests, but not the millions. Interesting. Well, it seems it hasn't happened yet, but, you know. You can shoot me a link there. Commie sources. Why is my fucking chat automatically... I don't feel like doing /ad permit term commie. Just let it happen. It's the word commie, dude. I don't feel like doing that every time the shitty bot decides that a word is fucking banned or needs permission. God damn. Is Coomer banned? Your thoughts on socialists like Barack Obama? I don't have any thoughts on socialists like Barack Obama because Barack Obama wasn't a socialist. Boom, done. The left wants to take your true. He was. Nope. Fake news. Checkmate. Conservative. Get pwned in the marketplace of ideas. Absolutely destroyed. I am the embodiment of Marx himself. Ah! Sorry, dude. I had to go Super Saiyan on you, okay? Hi, TJ. Sorry, I was just pwning the cuck-servatives. In my chatterino. Get out of my chat. Back, demon! What would be like the liberal, like, you got the cross, but like, how would I... Should I get an axe and sickle thing, whatever? Marx killed 70 million people. Yeah, that's right. I did that. I, the embodiment of Marx. Also fake news. I did that, but also it's fake news. It didn't happen. Although it did happen when I played Sims that one time and I murdered every single person that walked into my door. That happened. The one time I played Sims. Me, Karl Marx. And City Skylines, when I annihilated my cities 3 times trying to get buildings. I had to make the employment rate above 50% or unemployment rate above 50%, so I just kind of killed my city. Yeah, that also happened. So yep, that happened. But also fake news, didn't happen. If you become communist, the corpse just stopped growing. How will you become communist? China. Duh. Whatever they did, because they're still socialists, right? Barack Obama, that's the answer. True, Trump is a socialist. That means Trump bad. Yeah, dude, Trump is... Didn't you hear? Trump just taxed the wealthy 1,000,000%. What do you mean? Give me a source that he's not a socialist. No, conservative. I'm sorry, your master betrayed you. This is a top 10 enemy betrayal. Okay? Trump is a communist now, okay? Okay, well, you can't say... Dude, come on. That's a low blow, my guy. What the fuck? That's okay. A dolphin just jumped on screen. Thanks, dolphin. Where'd you go? There you are. Why do you gotta bring my mom into this, bro? What the fuck? Man. I'm about to make myself cry on cue. I fucked it. Never mind. I'll do it. I'll shed a tear right now. Bring my mom up one more time. Just hyperventilate. But yeah, Trump is a pure communist. Okay? Deal with it. Nope, you're wrong. You're wrong. Libtard, alphatard. Sorry to break it to you. Pwned. Destroyed in the marketplace of ideas. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate you. I love you. And there's nothing wrong with that. What is over here? No! Stop bringing up my mother. Stop! Stop it! This is a fight between me and you, Chad. No, cuck-servative. No, you can't use the word cuck. You have to use libtard. I use cuck-servative. Come on! Come on! You're fucking with me and Ian, you loser. What the fuck? Did they take away one of Liverpool's goal? You fucks! Conservative. No! Cuck-servative. Conservative Chad. Although that is a good one. Or a Chad-servative. I would have gone with I would like Chad-servative or conservative Chad is is pretty good. And then liberal of that would be Chadbril. Or Lib Chad. Or Con Chad, true. Alright, cuck-servative. Lib cuck. No, stop it. Cuck is my word. It's mine. My. Ooh, a forest. I cucked your. Oh my god. My mother again, dude. Come on! We had an agreement. No more mothers. Fuck. Alright. Next top. Who wants to see my sweet collection of Pokemon cards? Too far, man. Too far. You brought my mother in. Too far. Too far. But I say, I show off I have Pokemon cards. Okay, I'm very proud of them. And no one can tell me otherwise. Why do I feel like I'm going slow as fuck? Is it just because I've been flying around this mode forever that it's gotten normal? Wow, look at my house. That actually looks pretty fucking sick, not gonna lie. Not gonna lie, dude. It look pretty fucking dank. Oh, God! Your trolling bores me, Ian.